Hi guys, so we're back again with another reading, and for this one I figured I would bring back the food. I know some of y'all have been missing that, so enjoy the selection of sushi for you guys today. And today's topic is all about what do people think of you. So what is running through their mind when it comes to you? What are their thoughts and opinions? And we are tuning into the energy of the collective more so than one individual person. So it's not so much about how one specific individual is thinking of you, but more like the general public. So I think we're going to get a lot of juicy information. I'm excited for this one. And of course, if one pile in particular is already sticking out to you, feel free to skip ahead to that pile at any point. If this is your first pick a card reading, you want to go towards the one that seems to be calling your energy in. And often it's going to be the first one that you feel drawn to. Don't overthink it too much. Just head straight to that pile. We don't want to have our mind running a million miles an hour and trying to weigh the pros and cons. Just trust yourself and go with it. And usually that is a pile that will have the message for you. And I'm going to show you guys the numbers on each of the piles, but I also want to mention that I have my Patreon with a lot of amazing readings over there. They run the gamut from being really funny and silly, and some are a little risque, to being really serious and helping you guys achieve your dreams. So there's a lot of great stuff to choose from, and we can get a little deeper over there. So definitely head to the link in my bio for my Patreon if you want to join us over there and get access to all those readings. So with that being said, let me show you guys the numbers on each of the piles. So we are starting off with pile number 1, and then we have pile number 2, number 3, and number 4. And so if you guys need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to pause, rewind, and take as much time as you need. But we are going to go ahead and jump into pile 1. Okay, pile 1, so if you guys picked the salmon sushi, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the Empress, Judgment, 9 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, 10 of Cups, 4 of Pentacles, 6 of Wands, the Hermit, and the Star. So wow, such a powerful energy coming through here. I'm honestly kind of shocked. I was intending this reading to kind of have pros and cons, positives and negatives, but honestly, these are all coming through as mostly positive with a couple caveats. But for the most part, I feel like people really look up to you and see you guys as kind of a powerhouse, someone who has a ton of potential to either achieve success or who has already achieved success. You might find that people think of you as being very bougie and upscale and like you're just already have a lot of luxury. But for some of you guys, there's also references to being a public figure with the 6 of Wands and the Star card coming through. There might be a certain amount of either social media fame or public acclaim that you guys feel destined for, that people are picking up on. Maybe it's something where it's like, oh, she's pretty enough to be an Instagram model, or like he's charismatic enough that he could be a rock star or something like that. But I feel like people are noticing that you stick out of the crowd and that you very well might be on the path to some kind of, like I said, fame, social media success, or definitely abundance for sure in this pile regardless. But for some of you, it might also be coupled with like, oh, they're gonna, they're gonna have some kind of fame destiny or something like that. They're gonna be known for something. They're just an interesting enough person. Like there's something about them, as the French would say, je ne sais quoi, where there's something different about you that just captures people's attention. And that might even be the bane of some of your existences, because you did get the Hermit card. So some of you guys might be like, I don't want this attention. I just want to mind my business and stick to myself. 4 of Swords as well. I feel like there's a thing where people are saying like they're not so friendly. Maybe they ask you to hang out and you're like, yeah, okay, but like when it comes to the day, you're like, oh, sorry, I'm sleeping or something. With the 4 of Swords, for sure, you might be sleeping, or just that you're kind of not as like energetic towards that. Like you're very selective with how you spend your time, and that maybe people want to be closer to you, but you're kind of choosy and you're not the most like enthusiastic about meeting new people, because with the 4 of Swords, that can be a kind of lethargic energy. And I'm almost getting the vibe that some of you people will be like, hey, let's get lunch together. And you're like, okay, like yeah, maybe, and you're not really taking them up on it. You don't seem like you're like that gung ho. You seem like you're very, like I said, choosy with your time. Kind of like, if I want to do it, I'll do it. If I don't want to do it, I won't. And so there's an element of you that's kind of hard to get to know, that I feel like people are like, wow, I wish they would come out more, or I feel like I don't know them that well. And again, maybe this is even more heightened by the fact that you do have the star energy, the Six of Wands. So people want to get to know you. They are curious. They want to know more. But I feel like maybe it's kind of like a circular thing where like the people want to know more because of that. Then you become more protective of yourself. Then the more protective you are, the more they want to know. And it just goes on and on and on in a circle, because I feel like it's almost like the more they want to know about you, the more you're like, let me keep this to myself. And maybe that's something you guys were always aware of, is like people are always wanting to know what you have going on, curious about you, that kind of a thing. There is an element where maybe some of you guys might even come off as a little judgmental, not in a bad way, but maybe, like I said, you seem bougie, because this came out sandwiched between the Empress and the Nine of Pentacles. So, you know, I feel like it's more judgmental in the fact of being like, I have luxury around me, or I'm not going to be okay with, like, you know, you take me on a date and get me a Filet-O-Fish from McDonald's. Like, I need that high-end steakhouse vibe, you know what I mean? Judgmental in terms of, to be honest, like clothing or brands or just luxury in general. Maybe someone, you know, invites you over and they want to serve you, I don't know, some Kraft mac and cheese or something, and you're just like, oh no, I only eat truffle pasta or something. I mean, that's a little extreme, but you know, I'm just joking for the sake of this metaphor. But I just feel like there's a vibe with you guys being very, yeah, you're not impressed by like other stuff that people might be impressed by. I do feel like there's an acknowledgement that you guys have a nice way of dressing and being very put together. And when you leave the house and actually bother to get dressed up, which I do feel like is not necessarily all the time, with the Four of Swords coming out and the Hermit, I feel like you guys are probably staying at home in sweatpants a lot of the time and not actually dressed to the nines every single day. But when you do decide to go out, it's like you go all out. So kind of like you'll be sitting at home some of the time in sweats, maybe ordering in Postmates and hair pinned up and no makeup on, and you have that kind of duality to you. But when you decide to actually get dressed up, it's like, everyone watch out, because like this person is going to be the star of the show. This person is going to look amazing. When they actually bother to get themselves dressed up, it's like there's no chance anyone else has to, you know, be the center of attention around this person. So let me get some more cards for you guys. Also, with the Page of Pentacles, I feel like there's this energy strongly that even though you might be perceived as already having some success, that you're gonna have more, and you might be working on something, or people perceive you as someone who is like entrepreneurial, or like you are just on the path to bringing in more, and there's something you're working on now that's going to be even bigger. So future success is an energy coming in. So we got Four of Gabriel, time for a celebration, abundant rewards for hard work, release yourself from burdensome situations. Knight of Ariel, there is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. And the Star, again, so funny, Archangel Jophiel. So you guys really exude this star energy. I don't know if some of you guys are in the entertainment field, or you are trying to do things on social media, or you just have your social media popped off, even if it's only a few hundred subscribers or something, but like it's just on point and everything looks amazing. But I definitely feel like you guys give off the vibe and the energy and the radiance of someone who is like naturally center of attention, naturally would have success at social media, and naturally people are interested and drawn to you, which I think is just like kind of like star quality. You know, you always see people all the time trying to make it in Hollywood or in different places, and they just can't succeed, even if they have like a lot of family support or a lot of money behind them, like just no one cares. And then you'll see some random person that's, you know, grew up in like Kansas and has no connections in Hollywood, but they make it to LA and they get in something and everyone just wants to know everything about them. And that's like the vibe here, I feel like, where people are curious about you. People want to know more. You have their attention, you know? So I feel like there's also this vibe with the Four of Wands that you guys are probably fun to party with. Maybe sometimes you come off as a little bit of a party girl or a party boy, where people are like, you know, like I said, this vibe of like, you don't go out that often, but when you do go out, you kind of can throw down. You're like a lot of fun. You are the party. I think a lot of people imagine that going out with you and having drinks and stuff, it would just be a really good time. Like you funny, have a good conversation, you're, you know, exciting to be around. Probably also like you look good. So, you know, people can be a little superficial and maybe they're thinking like, hey, if I go out with her, like all the guys are going to come up to our table and everyone's going to be looking at us and everyone's going to want to talk to us and, you know, getting in that, basking in that attention that you guys give off. Maybe that's something to even be aware of. And maybe that's why you guys are the hermit sometimes and you are a little protective of yourself, is because maybe you've had friends who have kind of used you in that sense of like, they like the fact that other people are so interested in you, so they might want that attention for themselves, and maybe they don't really care about you, but they ask you to hang out all the time so they can go out with you and have everyone staring, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's something definitely to be aware of. And with the Knight of Ariel, again, this vibe that you're working on something and bringing something in to like accomplish, to work on a project. It doesn't feel like you're just in full luxury relaxation mode where you're just like sitting back and relaxing. It feels like there's just a lot of potential for something even bigger and for even more accomplishment and for really blowing people away. And so I feel like people feel the potential in you and feel the power and radiance you guys give off of like, this person, it's not over yet. You know, this is not the end of their story. Even if they've accomplished a lot already, they still have a lot more to go. And so, yeah, people can tell, people are intrigued. They definitely see that vibe from you guys. And I think that a lot of them, again, this is probably why so many people want to be closer to you, want to get to know you more, and are just really fascinated by whatever you guys have going on. So let's get some more cards for you guys. So we also got Poised, Observer, Chopped Wood, Imagine, and New Life. So like I said, this energy of the new life you guys are creating is coming through really strong. It's actually really interesting because I'm like, what is this? Why do people keep talking about this person's future destiny and the vibe you give off of like how you're going to be in the future? I don't know. I guess it's that vibe where like a lot of times when someone's a big success, they'll interview their classmates and stuff and they always say like, oh, they won most likely to succeed, or they won most likely to be on the cover of a magazine, and then sure enough that person becomes a big actor or something, you know what I mean? And so maybe it's just that. I don't know why they're bringing up your future so much, but I feel like this is a major energy that hangs around you in how you're perceived by others. So people are thinking about your future while they interact with you, which I guess makes sense. Like, you know how sometimes there's like a kid at school that's like super smart and knows everything about like stocks or something, and you're like, they're just going to be really rich, and you just know that about them, and maybe it doesn't change how you interact with them, but it's just something you know. And I feel like that you guys carry that vibe. You guys do come off as very poised and a little bit up on a pedestal. I do feel like it's almost like I'm seeing someone with their nose in the air, and Spirit is showing me that really strongly, actually, like really cartoonishly almost. Like, so maybe a little bit of a snob, or people think like being intimidated by you, maybe even hating on you. I could definitely see this pile attracting some haters, and definitely a lot of observers and a lot of people that are just curious about you. But I could definitely see an unevolved person like hating and taking it personally, like comparing themselves to you and being jealous. I feel like a lot of people fantasize with you. I was wondering what this Imagine card meant as I was shuffling like beforehand. I was just like, okay, I just pull really quick, kind of process them really fast, and then throw them in the pile and don't remember when they come out. So with Imagine though, I was like, okay, what is that? And now Spirit is showing me that a lot of people have fantasies about you, and a lot of people imagine stuff about you. I feel like romantically, sexually, if we're being honest, and even platonically as friends. I feel like they imagine that you have this glamorous life. They probably imagine that you have a lot of suitors. They probably imagine that you've had things really easy for you. They probably imagine that, you know, you have people willing to pay all your bills, or like, what is it? Simps? You know what I mean? Or something like that. Like if you wanted it, and you could have whatever you want. And So I feel like they imagine that you have this really glamorous life, which I know some of you guys are in your Four of Swords energy, Hermit energy, and you're like, I'm like in my room, not doing anything. Like I'm chilling in my sweatpants. I'm not, I don't have some glamorous story behind this, but that's what people are imagining. They see the surface and the image and the beauty you guys have going on, and they just feel like you must have an easy life. You must have had things come really easily to you, and that you maybe even haven't had to work hard. With the Empress leading off, you know, the Empress is a very relaxed energy. She doesn't really fight for things. She just let it flow to her. So maybe people just think you've had things handed to you. With the 10 of Cups, it could even be an imagining that you have a really lucky or wealthy family that just gives stuff to you. And also 10 of Cups like is also an easy energy of just everything's going great in my life. So I feel like a lot of people might be jealous of you. They might think that you have no problems, that your biggest problem is like whether to order a pumpkin spice latte or a regular latte, or like a peppermint latte, and that's your biggest life stress. And I'm sure that's not the case, but you know, people always have a way of imagining stuff like that, you know, this person has it so easy. And so you have a lot of people that I feel like have all eyes on you when you enter a room. There's a very captivating energy to you. I'm literally seeing that emoji of the lady dressed in red who's going like that. And that's kind of the vibe. Like, ooh, I'm the center of attention. There's something sexy about me. Maybe I can dance, or I just have a magnetic quality and all eyes are on me whenever I'm around. So let's get more cards. So we got Gates of Triumph, success expands in your life, unknown territory, you are exactly where you need to be, infinite abundance. I mean, like they just are talking about the same stuff. Abundance is pouring into your life and surrendering to the journey, release control. So there is a strong vibe of success around you guys. I'm getting that even though you guys are very beautiful, I can see why there's people jealous, because I feel like you guys are also smart and kind of sharp. Like people might first meet you and think like, oh, this person's kind of so pretty, she must be kind of a bimbo, you know what I mean? Or he must be just like a meathead, like he just probably works out all the time, he has a great body, and he just is, he's not very smart, you know what I mean? And they don't want to imagine that you're also smart. But I feel like when they get to know you, I'm seeing someone who's very sharp mentally, like can follow a story or can, you know, assimilate information in their mind and can remember things, and is just quick to perceive things, which I think is a marker of intelligence. So like just fast processing, and just someone could say like, oh, so I paid my taxes for this and blah, blah, blah in conversation casually. And you'd be like, oh, did you pay with form XYZ, or did you invest in this instead? Or did you know that there's a tax break with if you divest this amount, like, or whatever, I don't know. I obviously can tell I'm making that up, but I just feel like you guys know a lot about things and you're really smart, and people do get that vibe, because I feel like there's a little bit of a vibe of not being controlling, but again, I feel like you guys like things to be done right and correct. And, you know, with that Judgment card too, it's like when someone comes to you with some janked up situation and they're kind of like, oh, is this okay? You know, do you mind driving in my car that's like half broken down, and like we don't really have a tire on the end, and like I know nothing about cars too, so I can't even make up stuff, but like it's out of gas, but we can kind of like run off the fumes. You'd be like, absolutely the heck not. No, I'm not going to go in this janked up car. And so I feel like sometimes people might react negatively to it, because it's like you see things really clearly, and kind of like people will resent when they know they're lacking. You know what I mean? Like maybe a guy who meets a woman and she's really beautiful, and he knows he has no chance with her. He knows he has zero opportunity of ever getting her number, ever getting on a date with her, ever getting to win her over and call her his girlfriend and cuddle her. Like depending on how mature he is, a mature man, of course, in his divine masculine will be like, oh, okay, absolutely. Well, God bless, and I'll find the right girl for me. But a immature man in an immature masculine energy is going to maybe get enraged or be really mad or be passive aggressive towards her and catty towards her and rude and like go out of his way to be like, I don't care what she thinks, you know? And maybe immature feminine as well might be jealous, might be assuming like, oh, she thinks she's better than us. She thinks, she said that, you know, that she didn't want to ride along in my hoopty car, so that means she's extremely mean. And it's like, no, maybe she's worried about her safety. Maybe your car is the doors hanging off by the hinge and it's a problem and she's worried about herself. And it's like, I feel like people project on you this nasty kind of stuff of thinking that you're better or thinking that you're going to be mean to them, thinking that you're going to be nasty, when I don't think that's the reality. I just think you guys like things to be done right and you're not really interested in engaging if it's really bad. Like I was just watching like Martha Stewart, and she was talking about like how the food she cooked, and it's so funny. She said some comment like how she made pasta and she said, oh, it's great, it's a great dish to make if you have some truffles lying around. And everyone in the comments was like, oh great, I'm so glad to know what to do with those extra truffles, because they were gonna go to waste. Like they were like, we don't have truffles laying around, okay, Martha. But the thing is, that's kind of what's coming to my mind for you. Like, you know, Martha Stewart would not be down if you came over and tried to offer her some horrible meal that was like, you got it from the 99-cent store and it was like some nasty cereal with old expired milk. She would just be like, I'm good, I'll pass. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with knowing our value, and she's gonna go home and cook herself a truffle chicken or whatever. So I feel like that's your vibe, but people might take that personally and get offended by it sometimes and think that you're controlling or say stuff like that about you. But I feel like there's a message from Spirit like, absolutely not. You're the one who's right and they're the one that's wrong. And so don't even take it to heart or let it affect you guys. And I do feel like, again, we're getting this energy of you guys manifesting huge success, and even more so, like you guys are on this trajectory. You're heading into unknown territory. You're pushing yourself further than you are now. And also with unknown territory, what's coming to mind is that you guys do play a lot of things close to the vest, and there's a lot of secretiveness about you, like people just not knowing your background that well. I feel like you guys tell stuff selectively, but you don't tell everything. And there's a lot of stuff that people kind of find out piece by piece, and they're like, oh, that's interesting. Like, I feel like you have an interesting background too, where you're not just like, it's not just like that typical life of like, I don't know, graduating college and then graduating high school, going to college, getting a 9-to-5 job and just smooth sailing. It feels like there's been twists and turns and unexpected stuff and like crazy events that happened. And I feel like you have a really fascinating past, and maybe that, you know, kind of comes out sometimes. Like people are listening to your story and they're like, wait, you did what? You went to Spain when? You danced around a bonfire in Ibiza when? What? Like it's like there's interesting hidden stuff you guys have going on. So we also got memories of love, emotional withdrawal, and love begins. So I feel like there's a strong energy of you guys being kind of like a heartbreaker, and also maybe having a very impactful or big romance around you that maybe left. I think, you know, as an energy reader and stuff, I think people who have had a great love they tend to get an energetic imprint of it, almost like a tragic look to them, but not in a bad way, but they just look like someone that's been really loved deeply and went to those emotional places. And I don't know how to describe it, but it's kind of, yeah, there's kind of a tragicness to it or a haunted quality. That can even make someone more beautiful, because I think at the end of the day, everyone wants that kind of love, right? So when someone has that, it kind of makes them seem like, oh, that's what I want, you know, in the same way that maybe someone has money, and if you don't have money, you're like, I want that money. So you'll hang out with someone who has money just to be around that energy. You know what I mean? And so people try to kind of absorb it by osmosis, which is kind of energy vampiric, but it's not horrible, but it's not necessarily the best way to go about it. But I feel like that's one of the reasons why people are intrigued by you, is you come off as someone who has had a great love, an impactful love, someone who loved you really deeply, and it just left a bit of an energetic imprint on you. It's kind of like, it feels like energetically sometimes it's like marking territory or something. Like when someone is so in love with someone, they kind of, their spirit guides hover around them or something. I don't know what is, but I always pick up on it with people where I'm like, this person had a huge, great love, and you can just tell. So yeah, I think people can pick up on that with emotional withdrawal. Maybe that's why sometimes you guys seem emotionally withdrawn. Like maybe you don't seem as impressed by the other kinds of relationships that other people would be. Maybe you seem like you're kind of like, oh, that's cool. Or someone's like, I want to set you up with my guy friend. He's amazing. He's the best. You're going to love him. And you're like, he's okay. Because you've been through such a deep love that you're not really down to settle for anything else. And also, again, I think you just have high standards in general, but I definitely think also having that other impactful love has had its effect as well. So let me get some more cards for you guys. So Spirit, can you tell us more about pile 1 and how they're perceived? The map maker of destiny. I'm telling you, you guys have this really strong destiny. It's so crazy how it comes out so much. Like, okay, we get it, Spirit. Okay, we got the cosmos, creativity, vastness, and we got the arrow master hitting the mark, intention, detachment. So you guys do seem kind of detached, definitely. The fire prince, optimism, aggression, and the high lady of love and compassion. So you guys seem kind, and I feel like sweet and nice, even though sometimes you might seem a little judgmental. It's more like, I feel like people do understand that you're just a bougie person in general. So you're not trying to be harsh by like, having high standards or whatever, but you just have high standards. So you're not trying to be mean about it, but it is what it is. Also, you guys do come off as creative. We've gotten 2 cards now about creativity. So I feel like there's something about how you dress or how you do your makeup or something about you that's a little bit unconventional, and it does seem creative. And maybe this is also where this star energy comes in, is, you know, a lot of times it's creative people who succeed in kind of those public figure realms, be it acting or singing or whatever, social media. Like you have to be somewhat creative to succeed within those realms. So I feel like you guys definitely come off as creative and maybe even head in the clouds in that sense a little bit. I do feel like you guys also come off as optimistic and having a little bit of that fire energy. You might have some prominent Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius in your chart. Could also involve having like Mars in the first house or aspecting the ascendant, especially in a positive way, but it could be anything. So it could be sextile, trine, opposition, conjunction, square, anything really, of the Sun, Mars, or Jupiter. But you guys definitely give off a kind of fiery, excitable, energetic vibe, and optimistic for sure, and like excitable. Like you wouldn't be just boring to talk to. Like, even though you guys can be a little bit jaded about things, I feel like you're not as impressed by like I said, there's a strong bouginess coming around. So it's kind of like you're not going to be impressed by like a party with like a bunch of free beer and pizza if it's really cheap. But, you know, but you're generally optimistic and excitable about things you do like. Like if someone was having a party with, you know, fresh made cocktails and higher end foods, you'd probably be like absolutely there and excitable and happy and talkative, and like people would enjoy being around you in that sense. Like I just think there's a lot of positivity around you. This is maybe that party girl, party boy vibe as well, where like you bring the energy, you bring the fun. I could see you guys, I'm hearing It Girl in my mind, and I just saw like Edie Sedgwick and like Sienna Miller and some of these famous It girls from the past. So like someone that I feel like is fun at parties and couples that with being really attractive and creative. And yeah, just, I think you guys would be fun to be around. So let me get some astro dice for you guys. So Spirit, can you please tell us the astrological energies of pile 1 for what people think of them? So we got Capricorn, Jupiter, and the 8th house. Okay, none of these are a surprise to me because Capricorn is a really hard worker, and I do feel like you guys give off a strong Capricorn vibe. There's also a lot of people just like millennials, I think, more so the younger millennials who have Capricorn stelliums. That's just a generational transit. So a lot of you guys might have that. And Capricorn energy generally gives someone a vibe of being hardworking and willing to do whatever it takes to get success, slow and steady. They're not necessarily the fastest moving type of sign, but they're definitely, once they're committed to something, they're committed. And I feel like, again, with this strong wealth energy you guys give off, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys have Capricorn placements, because it seems like when you do things, you like them to be done right, which is definitely Saturn energy as well. Saturn is not someone that's just like, oh, no big deal, you did it wrong. Oh, please don't even worry about it, like at all. That's funny because Saturn is the opposite of that. Saturn will punish you for doing anything wrong. And so I feel like you guys do have that Capricornian high standards for yourself and for others. But with Jupiter, you guys also, again, I feel like you guys come off as smart. And it's interesting because Jupiter is different. Jupiter's about smartness, I guess. But it's different from Mercury, even though Mercury is an energy of thinking and speaking and all that, those kind of other forms of intelligence. But Jupiter is more along the lines of philosophy. I feel like you guys would make good philosophers who like think deeply about different things, look into things. And again, you might seem well traveled, or like you have this interesting background and you've been to different places, with the ninth house being there and Jupiter being there. Yeah, I also, Jupiter can be lucky, and I feel like some of you guys just seem lucky, or people might be like, again, like, oh, they're so easy, everything falls into their lap, everything's so easy for them. Oh, they're so lucky. They just, of course that happens to them, and they don't even realize that you also have this Capricorn energy and you do work hard for things. And then we have the eighth house, and eighth house does not surprise me at all for you guys. That is Scorpio, it is Pluto, and it is a very mysterious energy. It's also highly sexual. So you guys probably do give off a kind of sexual vibe. Again, I could definitely see a lot of you guys having Mars aspecting the ascendant, or like qualities in your chart that give you kind of some sexuality. I'm hearing Eros, the asteroid, you might have that aspecting your sun or your ascendant or your Mars, Venus. You might have Pluto as well, because there's like a sexuality here for sure. And I feel like eighth house, you know, like I said, it's a very mysterious house. It's a lot of hidden mysteries and stuff like that. Private detectives and that kind of a vibe. So I definitely feel like people are intrigued by you. Scorpio is a very secretive type of energy. It likes to keep things very close to the vest. So I feel like people are intrigued about you, and it's almost like they know just enough about you to make them more curious than they would have been if they hadn't known anything. So it just makes them even thirstier for some extra knowledge about you. The little information you do give away just makes them want more, more, more. And I'm being told to pull one final card from this deck. So let's see what it is. What's the final card from this deck, Spirit, about what do people think of pile one? What do people think of pile one, Spirit? What do people think of pile one? We got Black Cat, Fortune Meets Opportunity, Ancestors, the love and legacy of our DNA, and Lady de los Muertos. And she's a very sexy, glamorous vibe. Okay, we got Scrying, Midnight. I definitely think you guys do come off as intuitive as well, or might have some slight witchy vibes. Some of you, or like you just might seem like you love to be up at night and you are intuitive and you're into some stuff like that. You might be into tarot or astrology and stuff like that. But I feel like you have a really strong destiny as well. And there's a lot of complexity here with your vibe, but what's coming through over and over is the star energy, and that energy that you guys are destined to kind of have some kind of a platform, or maybe you're just automatically that way, even if you don't have an actual platform. Maybe just people just notice you when you walk into a room. But definitely center of attention type vibes. And yeah, I feel like you guys also just come off as very beautiful with the Empress, like a charmer. Like you could have whoever you wanted. You could date whoever you wanted. You could have people at your fingertips. You know what I mean? Easy, easy, easy. You would just snap your fingers. You could get whatever and whoever you want. So Yeah, that's what's coming through for you guys. Pile one. So let me know in the comments how this resonated. I love hearing from you guys. Also, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Make sure to like it and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. And if you want to see my additional readings, definitely check out my Patreon, link in my bio for that. And I have my additional readings over there. There's a lot of fun ones and some deep ones and just a great mix. So definitely check it out. Link in my bio for that. And with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. Hey, pile two. So if you guys picked this eel sushi, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you got the moon, 2 of Wands, 5 of Swords reversed, strength, Knight of Swords, 6 of Pentacles, Judgment, Page of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and Ace of Pentacles. So the first thing that's coming through as far as what people think of you is as being very smart and highly intelligent. I feel like you guys are thought of as well-spoken and kind of composed and put together. But then there's also this mystery element towards you guys where I also feel like you come off as having a bit of a hidden creative side with the moon coming out. So almost like you guys might be really good in business, very efficient in handling yourself at your job, and might come off even a little intimidating with the 5 of Swords reversed like that. You might come off as someone that is not to be messed with and even could be verbally sharp with people if they needed to be. 5 of Swords reversed can also talk about kind of avoiding conflict. So you might be someone who comes off in a way of, I'm not going to really start the fight and I'll try to avoid this fight, but if you keep pushing me, I have like a million insults ready to go and it's not going to end well for you. So I do feel like a lot of people, maybe they would try to avoid fights with you, but there is this vibe that you're kind of, I don't want to say quiet, but a little bit, but watching everything going on. And like you guys can, like you probably have like accumulated knowledge on everyone in your life. You probably know everything, like so many random details about everyone, because I feel like you guys are really keen observers and again, highly intelligent, very insightful processors of things. So maybe something else would happen to someone else and you know they just kind of don't think too much about it. They're like, oh yeah, I think Randy called in late again, but you're like, Randy called in late at 8:05 a.m. His commute is exactly 10 minutes, which means that when he called in and said he had a flat tire, he said he was already running late and he has been late 15 times within the past 45 days. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you guys would just know so much information and you guys seem like, I don't want to mess with this person, or I don't want to get on their bad side, or I don't want to start a fight with them because they're really smart. But with the moon coming through, I also feel like you guys give off, this is an interesting one, because I feel like you give off a vibe of being also creative or having a kind of hidden side to you. You might even be involved in making some kind of art or writing. I could definitely see that with this pile. Like you guys would make amazing writers, or being involved in some kind of like obscure fandom of some kind, or like maybe you're into a certain anime that like no one really knows about, or you are a huge fan of a certain movie and you write fanfic for it, or maybe you love like 1840s literature from Russia. But there's just something about you guys that I feel like it comes off like you have this hidden world of your own that you're not so accessible and open. Your energy feels like you protect yourself a little bit more and you have a little bit of boundaries up with people. So I feel like people are kind of intrigued by you. I feel like they kind of don't know fully what to make of you. They're kind of like, I respect the heck out of this person and I'm just going to keep my distance because I don't want to get on their bad side. And like, I don't think they even like me, or, you know, or just they seem really smart, but they don't seem like they're desperate for a new friend. You know, they don't seem like they're just desperately hoping that I ask them out to a coffee. They just seem like they probably have a booked up schedule or have a million things going on. They already seem like they have an established life. I feel like a lot of you guys might even come off like you're in a relationship or something because your mind feels very drawn to two things at once. Like it feels like you're present in the moment, you're smart, you're good at doing your job, and you're, you know, intelligent in how you communicate and stuff. Again, highly intelligent. So it's not like you come off as like scatterbrained in that way, but I also feel like you come off like someone who's also intellectually involved in this other realm of some kind where like, yes, you're there present in the moment, but you have a hidden side to you. And I feel like that energy radiates from you really strongly with the moon coming out. So it feels like, there's just a hidden nature. The moon is like a hidden type of energy. It is literally, you know, it vanishes, the moon waxes and wanes, and sometimes it's completely gone from the sky. And so there's something very secretive about it. And I feel like you give off a kind of elusive quality where people, and elusive, does that come from Luna? I don't know. Maybe I'm just way projecting with my like 1 year of Latin class that I took, but I don't know. I just feel like you guys seem elusive, and it's a very watery kind of like hidden night, like a stream in the middle of the night at midnight with like a sliver from the moon. That's what I'm seeing in my mind's eye. I feel like you guys do come off like you might have some hidden knowledge, like you would know all the company's secrets, or you know a lot about different things. People might come to you and just be like, hey, by the way, do you know about the war in, you know, Germany in like 1605? And you're like, oh yeah, I know everything about it. I just feel like you guys come off as highly knowledgeable, and a lot of people probably rely on you with the Six of Pentacles. Like, I get that you guys are just very important to the running of either your work, your family, something like that. You're very integral to that. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid of getting on your bad side with that Judgment card coming out. But you guys seem like you're kind of destined for success in that way with the Page of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles. Like, you guys just seem like you're very on point with everything. You get stuff done. You manage things really well. And I feel like you guys are kind of planning this new destiny or something like that with the Two of Wands. So let's get some additional cards for energies for pile 2. So we got Divine Guidance, Archangel Sandalphon, Peace, Archangel Azrael, Ace of Gabriel, and Page of Gabriel. So this one says, follow your passion. You are ready for any challenge. This one says, a gift of passion, opportunity, and inspiration. This one says, release the past. There is a more enriching future coming. Let go and let God. And this one says, the search for meaning in life. Consider an alternative approach. I do feel like you guys might have an alternative quality to you, either being into like alternative medicine or plant medicine or something like that, or just coming off as like you're just not the most traditional type of person. And even in today's society, depending on where you live, that might be like being very traditional, you know, because if you live in a place like, I don't know, Portland, Oregon or something, you know, where people are very kind of non-conventional, and you want to wear like, you know, a very conservative, cute dress or something like that, then maybe you'll be an anomaly in that place, you know. But I just feel like there's something about you guys that seems like you have a lot of deep knowledge about subjects that have maybe made you march away from the grain. Like, maybe you are someone that doesn't really go along with the consensus of society on a lot of different issues, and there's something really spiritually advanced about you guys. Like, I could see you guys definitely being old souls and having been around for a lot of lifetimes, because I feel that you guys just come off as someone that has a lot of psychic abilities. I'm kind of getting some Scorpio vibes from this pile, to be honest, because it just feels like the hidden knowledge, the psychic abilities. I'm just getting Scorpio. But I do feel like when you're enthusiastic with someone or with your certain group of people, you are so loving and open to them. And this is where people get intrigued, because you might come off a little cold or a little distant at first when you're first getting to know someone and kind of feeling them out and like seeing if you want to let them in. You're not going to tell them your whole life story and tell them everything about you. You're going to kind of be like, hi, it was nice to meet you. Anyway, but when it comes to like, once they know you, it's like there's a lot of warmth there. There's a lot of openness. And I feel like you guys tend to get really excited about certain subjects. Like, I'm seeing like a little kid, like jumping up and down on Christmas morning. And I feel like that's how you guys might get about a certain thing. Like, either, like I said, this might have to do with that kind of fandom thing that I'm getting. So like, maybe you being into like a certain band or a certain movie or a certain type of literature, but you're just like so into it and it's like this hidden world for you. So when that gets kind of access, like if someone's like, hey, did you hear they're making another sequel to XYZ film? And that's your fandom that I'm talking about. you would be like jumping up and down and spending all your savings on like getting those tickets. And there's just this very excitable, happy quality that I do feel like it's almost like a little kid. Like I feel like I just heard the line from Taylor Swift, Begin Again, you throw your head back laughing like a little kid. And so, yeah, I feel like that's very charming for the people who actually get to see it, which I feel like is a very privileged group. And they might even like get to see you be that way with other people. Like if they don't know you that well, they might notice that like with your coworker that you've known for 5 years, you do that and you guys like fangirl together or get really excited together or like are giggling about something and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then you come, like they come over and they want to talk to you and they're like, oh, hey, excuse me, what are you guys talking about? And you're like, oh, nothing. Anyway, did you have something to say? And you're back to business. And it's not that you're trying to be rude, but I do feel like people are like, dang, I wish I could see that side of them. I wish I could be on the inside with that because they're just like, I feel like you seem like you would be someone who would be a good friend, a loyal friend, really smart, have interesting discussions, have interesting stuff to say. And it's almost like because you just don't give your energy away to everyone, it's considered a real prize. You guys also might be kind of like naturey is what I'm getting, like someone who spends a lot of time in nature or is very hippy dippy in that way. You might know natural remedies, or you just like go camping, or you go for hikes or something like that, or you only wear like vegan leather, or you only wear real leather or something, depending on your perspective on things. But like you only wear natural fibers, you know, so whatever. But I just think there's something about you guys being kind of nature type people and people picking up on that perspective with you and that vibe with you. I feel like in general, you guys try to keep the peace as much as possible and try to kind of talk things down. But again, if you get pushed, like you will verbally put someone in their place and you are not really someone to be messed with. So people, I think, know that, and they definitely try to kind of keep things cool with you, and they don't want to be on that bad side. So let's get some more cards. So we also got Faraway Places, Breaking Trail, Desert Passage, Embracing Enthusiasm, and Traveling Lightly. So like I said, there is this very enthusiastic, happy-go-lucky side to you that I feel like comes out with your certain interests and with the people that you're really close to and really, really love, which I feel like is a very select group for you guys. Also with Faraway Places, I feel like you guys are just more intelligent than the average person, and you have a lot of that deep knowledge about like other cultures. Like you're very culturally open, I feel. You wouldn't be closed off if someone asked you like, hey, do you want to try this food? It's from this country. And maybe you've never had it before, or you're not really sure what it's going to taste like or how to eat it or whatever, but you're going to be open and respectful, and you're going to be willing to at least try it and be open to it. I don't feel like you guys feel closed off and like you're just set in your ways. You feel very open to learning different things, and like you guys really enjoy learning. You might be one of those people that go down kind of a Wikipedia hole and you just waste hours like reading about some random like, you know, food shortage that happened in like 1731, and you just suddenly know everything about that. But yeah, it just feels like you guys are always learning, always very up on things, educating yourselves. And I feel like people really do think of you as smart and as someone who has a lot of this kind of accumulated knowledge. I feel like people think of you as a really blessing of a friend to have. Like you're someone that if you have them in your life, you would go out of your way to help them. You would write a letter of recommendation for them. And because a lot of people respect you, your word means a lot. So it doesn't come off as just, you know, some of those people who are too friendly with everyone, like people don't respect it as much when they endorse something, because they're like, well, of course they're going to say that because like, yeah, they're always positive with everyone. So it really doesn't matter. But because I feel like you guys are more choosy, it's kind of like a country club or something where you have to pledge membership and it's hard to get in and you have to be on your best behavior and you have to go through a wait list or whatever. You know what I mean? That's the vibe with you, is like there's an exclusivity and people know you're just not going to open up to everyone. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys traveled or lived in different cultures, because you just seem very open to kind of unconventional ways of living, and like you just don't want to fit in with the crowd and just do what everyone else is doing. You guys really want to kind of push things and be different and to open your eyes to different ways of living, and you're not just looking to fit in with absolutely everyone else. You guys are not just trying to be like a lemming going along with the crowd, and I feel like that comes off really strongly. So we also got building blocks, treasure island, between worlds, clean it up, and why. I feel like you guys would have been those little kids that are always asking why and always wanting to know more. You just seem like you guys are really smart. I could see some air sign energy in this pile for sure. So Aquarius, Libra, and Gemini. You just seem like you guys always want to know. You have all this accumulated knowledge. You guys might be kind of organized, to be honest. You might keep your space pretty clean, or this is what people think of you as, like, oh, this is someone that probably always has the right place for things. I'm seeing some of those TikTok videos in my mind of like cleaning, you know how they'll just show someone like cleaning their room and like they'll time lapse it and like making it look really perfect. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting for you guys, is you're perceived as someone who would have a really clean and organized space, maybe because you're highly intelligent, that it just, people are like, oh, they must be organized too. And it feels like you have an organized brain, like you're just smart, you're just good at sorting things in your head, you're good at making those quick decisions. And I feel like you guys come off as someone who reads a lot of books and someone who is very like educated on culture. Like if someone brings up a movie, an obscure movie, you probably would know it, or an obscure band, you probably would know that. And just someone who, yeah, has a really high level of cultural intelligence as well, where like you're very in the loop. You know what's going on in the culture or in popular events. And yeah, I feel like some of you guys do come off also like you're writing or you are creating some of those events yourself. Maybe you have some kind of creative project you're working on, but it just seems like there's a lot going on in your head. And we even got between worlds, which can talk about kind of living halfway in this realm and halfway in the astral plane. So I do feel like sometimes when people are talking to you, they're like, I don't feel like she's really fully paying attention to me. Like she's smart enough that she's able to kind of use half her attention for this interaction, but deep down she's also kind of somewhere else and not fully invested in this interaction. You know, she probably has some pretty complex things she's thinking of at the same time. So I do feel like with Treasure Island, you guys might come off as someone who is also destined for some wealth and some abundance, but yeah, I feel like a lot of this might come from your prowess at work and how you guys can be very organized. You guys seem like you would be the go-to person that people would go to. People are also probably asking you a lot of questions of why. They probably come to you and have like, how does this work? What am I supposed to do with this? Like you're the go-to person in the office that just knows everything, kind of a thing. Or maybe you're like a mom and your kids are always asking you why. But again, a lot of people really respect you. I'm hearing put some respect on my name. So I don't know if that's something you guys said or just how you feel, but it's like, I feel like there's a lot of respect going around about you guys. So let's get more cards. So we got solitude, and that's reversed. We got awareness, universe, passion ignited, and solar plexus chakra. And I think actually all these cards are supposed to be read upright. So with solitude, again, I feel like you guys keep your circle small. You're not just trying to hang out with any old person. You're not just desperately hoping that you get invited to like the office potluck. I feel like you would be choosy about who you hang out with. And again, people get the vibe that they're really going to have to put their best foot forward to break through that line with you between stranger and friend. You don't let everyone in. You're not one of those people that just buddies up to everyone and just desperately wants like people to hang out with. You seem kind of like no new friends. Like you're gonna have to get in here and you're gonna have to earn my respect a little bit. But I feel like a lot of people are willing to do that because you do come off as, like I said, very intuitive and psychic. Some of you guys come off like someone who is involved in some psychic fields and maybe has some magical rituals. Like I'm getting for some of you guys, you literally kind of give off some witchy vibes, to be honest. I don't know if some of you guys are into that. Also with passion ignited and solar plexus chakra, I feel like a lot of you guys have a sensuality about you, and this is kind of the witchy vibes thing too, and the Scorpio energy. Just come off as someone who has some sensuality or has some secret, like again, there's a lot of secrets with you. There's a lot of kind of like acting all buttoned up at the office, acting all buttoned up at your job, keeping things very like formal and businesslike, but actually deep down there is this kind of sensual side that again, not everyone gets to see. So let me shuffle some of these cards and see what they say about pile 2 and how do people perceive pile 2? How do people perceive pile 2? So we got eternal love. Love is love is love, and it transcends physical death. Lady de los Muertos, aka Lady of the Dead. So again, with this heavy sensual energy that I'm getting, this card to me, this woman just looks so beautiful. So she always brings up that sensuality to me, and in a very scorpionic way, because Scorpio does relate to the dead. So, and it says acceptance and equality. And I feel like you are that type of person that would treat everyone equally. You're not into like discrimination or like, I feel like you guys just seem like you would be egalitarian, and you see outside the matrix of like what society, like the divisions society tries to create or whatever. You just seem like you are very like, I don't believe in any of that. And to me, everyone is a human or whatever. I mean, maybe that should be basic, but I feel like you guys are exceptionally good at that. Let's get more cards. So we got death, the eternal cycle begins here. I'm telling you, y'all are witchy, and there's something very scorpionic about you guys. Mummy, I really feel like some of you guys in this pile are moms, or you're gonna be moms, or you give off that vibe. For sure. But I feel like for some of you, you might come off with infinite possibilities. Like there's something in your brain that could lead to a lot of abundance. So like there's a project inside of you, there's a book inside of you, there's a movie inside of you. You have that kind of way of thinking. You have that kind of mindset and that discipline, because, you know, it takes a lot of discipline to actually write a book where you could sit down and actually envision a world with all these layers to it and all these different storylines that cross over each other and all these different characters, and keep it all in order and plot that out. And because maybe you guys do read a lot or do think deeply all the time, you would just be naturally gifted and good at that. And I feel like a lot of people really respect that and can see that in you. But again, with the witchy vibe, and I don't know, maybe you guys might have been like spiritual guides in a past lifetime or witch doctors or something. To be honest, I'm getting kind of occulty vibes, like less just like white magic and more of the like darker magic, you know what I mean? More of the kind of like intense stuff, I guess. So yeah, let me get some astro dice as well for pile 2. Can we get some astro dice? So we got Capricorn, 8th house, and Uranus. And this is so funny because we actually got these two for pile 1. And as I was picking up on your energy, I'm like, I got kind of a weird tinge of energy at the end of pile 1 that felt like a little bit of a shift, but I was like, oh, I think this is another aspect of pile 1. But I'm like, was it pile 2? Because it really felt like you guys. And sometimes spirit, I feel like just, they're like, okay, transition to the next. They just start moving into it. But I don't know, you might watch the end of pile 1 because I do feel like it might have to do with you guys. But with Capricorn, you guys come off as really good at work. Capricorn relates to the 10th house, jobs, how you're perceived at work, your reputation, which I feel like your reputation is good. Your reputation is revered, and you guys get stuff done. Like, I just feel like you are efficient. You are good at your job. You make sure things happen. You're not just hanging out at the office and just going online and playing online games or like surfing through Instagram. Like I feel like you are that person that everyone really depends on at the office. And with the 8th house, there's this sensuality that is Scorpio. It's ruled by Pluto. And I've mentioned Scorpio throughout this reading because it's coming through so strong. 8th house is occult. It is also sexuality, and it's a lot of hidden stuff. And you guys seem that way very strongly. Like you keep things a lot to yourself. There's a hidden sensual side that I feel like people pick up on, to be honest, not to freak any of you guys out. Not that I feel like most of you would even care, but I think people do pick up on this sensuality, and that maybe with your partner, you like to get a little freaky or something like that. That's kind of what I'm getting. And there's this whole other side to you. Like, again, I feel like you present as kind of buttoned up. And then there's a side to you that's very different, but people can kind of tell. I'm hearing lady in the street, freak in the sheets. So I don't know, take that as it resonates, you guys. But then we also have Uranus, and that is, again, the unexpected. And Uranus is related to the 11th house. It's related to Aquarius. And this is also giving me strong Aquarius vibes because Aquarius tends to be, and I mentioned that because it's an air sign, Aquarius tends to be a little bit distant to a lot of people. They tend to be respected, but they're not necessarily desperately hoping to get along with everyone. And even when people try to deepen friendships with Aquarians or get deep into the emotions, a lot of Aquarians are like, no, I'm good. Like I genuinely don't want this. I don't have defense mechanisms. I'm just not interested, because Aquarian's just not really about that. Aquarius is really a card of the collective energy, aka large groups, not so much those really close inner relationships with like your best friend or your husband or something. It's more about along the lines of like, I get along well with everyone, but I have a little bit of this distance up, you know what I mean? And I feel like that describes you guys so well. Also, Aquarius can be very into social justice stuff and moving the dial forward on certain causes. It's like collective energy. Pisces is very spiritual as well and very into different like spiritual stuff, but it's more along the lines of the individual, whereas Aquarius is very collective. I hope that makes sense how I'm saying it. I mean, those are like some deep spiritual concepts to kind of get into, but yeah, that's a really quick summation. Let's get more cards for pile 2. How do people perceive pile 2? How do people perceive, or what do they think of pile 2? We got the Wise Woman of Wonderland, integrity, compromise. Wow, that's so true. The Diamond Dreamer, material wealth, true prosperity. And you guys, like I've said, you come off like you're building some wealth. You're going to get it. The Swan Queen, the Prison Waif, transformation, intuition, patience, the Prison Wave, self-sabotage, poverty consciousness. Some of you guys, I maybe not everyone, but for some of you guys, I am getting that vibe that you might have come off like someone who's frugal with money, or like you didn't grow up with a lot of money, but you got to be financially abundant from hard work. Like I'm feeling like a lot of you guys, you had to earn everything. You didn't have it handed to you, and you don't come off like a spoiled brat with your money. You come off like she earned it. And I'm not going to mess with her because like, there's like the saying, a fool and his money are soon parted, and y'all are not fools. You guys are really smart. And I feel like you're sharp as a tack. You know what's going on. You are not head in the clouds in the way of just being an easy target for that. You're probably hard to dupe, hard to pull the wool over your eyes, and you're just, again, highly, highly intelligent. And a lot of that might have come from the fact that you didn't grow up with money, and you're perceived as that hard worker that like did it for themselves. You know what I mean? Like people don't feel like, oh, well, of course she has a Mercedes. She had everything handed to her. Like, duh. They feel like, they earned it, and I really respect that. So a lot of respect for you in that sense, but people do perceive you as already having money or being very much on the path towards that. I also feel like, what was I going to say? I was going to say something else. Oh, patience. That's the main thing, is you guys come off as very patient. I feel that even though you're very smart, again, I feel like a lot of people will rely on you for help with things. Like people will ask you, like, can you help me with this? Or I don't know how to do this. Can you show me? Would you mind like giving this person a tour? And I feel like there's a lot of appreciation people have for how you, and I'm hearing some of you guys need to hear that, that you feel unappreciated or you feel like no one really notices. And your guides want to reassure you that people do notice how much you do for others and how much you help others and how much you really are a kind person, even though you don't have to be, and you don't really want to be perceived as like this big little teddy bear. Like I feel like you guys would be like, no, I am not a teddy bear and I am not that sweet, but you are, and people do notice how kind and giving you are in that sense of your time. Like I feel like, and I think that's smart. I think all of us have different things to give. Like if you're a water sign, you have lots of kind of watery, like emotional, loving energy, maybe some advice, psychic advice, that kind of a thing of being like, you're going to be okay. And like just being very supportive. And if you're an earth sign, you probably can help someone with their real problems and come over and like, you know, help them move some furniture or help them cook some meals or help them do their taxes. Cause you know, you got that earth discipline. And you guys are coming off as like air energy where you might not have the emotional wherewithal to come over and wrap someone in a big hug and like make them cocoa and like, you know, just cry with them. But I feel like you still are very kind and you give what you can, which is more along the lines of, I feel like advice, wisdom, knowledge. And I feel like people really appreciate that for you. And you are a rock to those around you. And so people are really grateful of that. And you are intuitive as well in this pile. I do feel like you guys kind of have one foot in this realm, and then that creative side is coming through really strong. A lot of you guys are creative, or you might wear unconventional clothing or dress in an unconventional way. Again, people are a little afraid of your judgment, but people are constantly going to you for help, and you're good at seeing this big picture of things. You're not someone who just gets bogged down into like, and then Brian said that he was coming, but then he didn't end up, like, you're like, I don't care at all. And you're very above that. You know, you're very like, this is such Aquarius vibes. Like, I swear, y'all have to be having strong Aquarius energy. And keep in mind, Aquarius is one of the older signs in the zodiac. So it really is it's the 11th sign. It's second to last. Pisces, I always compare it to like the old woman that's like, she's really sweet. She's like an old lady, but she really doesn't care anymore. And so, you know, this is why we need balance in the zodiac. We need those younger signs that care. And Aquarius cares a little more than Pisces. Like they're still really trying to write the collective. They're really trying to help things. They're still really trying to like make everyone benefit. And they do that by creating a little emotional distance with them. I think sometimes Pisces gets so bogged down in emotions that it swims away. Whereas, you know, Aquarius is actually the water bearer and is very good at handling those emotions, but they do it by keeping it a little bit contained. So sometimes they might come off as a little cold, like they don't care, but they really do. So yeah, that's the vibe I'm getting for you guys, is you do care, but you kind of keep that to yourself. So you probably wouldn't want anyone to know that you are a little bit of a softie and that you give to charity and stuff, and that you're, like you might tear up. Don't get mad at me for saying it, but you might tear up at like a movie or something even. And I feel like you would definitely want to keep that to yourself, but people can tell that you have a sweetheart, even if you might tell them like, shut up, don't say that. It's like you do. And I feel like a lot of people think of you as this rock in their group, as like, I just know I can trust them. I know they have my back. I know they're going to give me advice. And even though they might be a little bit standoffish, they are the number one most loyal person. Like I have someone in my life who is this way, and ding, 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 they're a Scorpio. I mean, you guys also have strong Scorpio vibes, as I've been saying. And so this is definitely a Scorpio thing too. And where they are not the warm and cuddly type person. And if you even try to hug them for any reason, anything like your birthday, if you were like, give me a hug, they wouldn't. But this person is so loyal and is always the rock that you know you can go to them at any time and they will absolutely be there for you. They're not going to send you a card afterwards and cry with you, but they are going to be there in the way that they can. And that's the vibe I'm getting for you, is like people might not even feel comfortable telling you how much of an effect you have on them and how valuable you guys are, but they do get it deep down. They have a deep respect and affection for you guys. But yeah, I think people perceive you in different ways depending on how well they know you, but a lot of people do see that sweet side to you. They're not going to tell you because they're probably scared of you, but they do see the sweetness in you, and mostly they have this respect for your intellect and the respect for your hustle and respect for how you get things done. And you are a guide for so many people, I feel, with that Two of Wands as well. Like, I feel like you guys are good at seeing things from a high perspective and just helping people plan things, helping them choose their path, helping them understand. And yeah, there's a lot of high level spiritual work I feel you guys are doing, and good karma you guys are building in your karma bank. So I think that's it, unless Spirit tells me something else to say. But anyway, if it resonated, guys, let me know in the comments. I'm curious about this pile, so please let me know what's going on here with the pile to you guys, because this was so specific and intense. So let me know, and make sure to give this reading a big thumbs up, turn on those notifications, and make sure you're subscribed, of course, and hit the like button. I think I said those things completely out of order, so let me try it again. You want to make sure you like, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and then turn on notifications. That's how it works. Anyway, and check out my Patreon if you guys want to join me over there. I have a lot of additional readings over there that are all kinds of different readings, some fun ones, lighthearted, and then some really deep, intense advice ones. So they run the gamut, and there's a lot of great extra info for you guys. So anyway, with that being said, I hope you all have an amazing day. I will see you soon in another reading. Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, so if you guys picked this octopus sushi, this is going to be your reading. So for your tarot, you guys got the Knight of Swords, Strength, 4 of Cups, 5 of Cups, 6 of Swords, 3 of Cups, Death card reverse, 10 of Cups, the Star, and the Ace of Pentacles. So with the Knight of Swords leading off the reading, I can tell you that you guys come off as very inquisitive, maybe pretty talkative, and I'm just seeing someone who's curious about a lot of things. You might ask people a lot of questions, and maybe you're just fascinated by everything. Like, you're that type of person who has a lot of random knowledge even because you are so curious, and maybe it's something where someone's like, oh, I heard about this band from 1982, and you're like, oh, I know all about them. Yeah, I've read their Wikipedia page like 6 times now. Yeah, I just know a lot of random stuff. You know what I mean? Because the Knight of Swords is generally loves information and gets after it. There's a lot of enthusiasm as well with the Knight of Swords. The vibe and the energy I'm getting from you guys is that of a fighter, like someone who is very strong and is going after something and trying to improve their life, and almost like has had a lot of hardship but is not taking it lying down, is going to fight back and is going to make a better destiny for themselves. And we can see a lot of kind of sorrowful energy here at the beginning, and then it ends in a lot of positivity. So I feel like you give off a vibe of someone who might not have always had it easy, but someone who is determined to succeed and will succeed and is not going to let people bring them down. So maybe there's something about you guys. I've just heard divorce. So maybe for some of you guys, it does relate to the 10 of Cups, and it could relate to having a difficult family upbringing, or maybe your family didn't have a lot of money, or you had to fight for certain things. I don't know, or it could have been even something like depression or anxiety. But I feel like you give off the vibe of someone who, like I said, you're not taking it laying down, you're fighting back, and you're going to change this destiny for yourself. And I feel like a lot of people respect that in you. You come in here with a ton of energy. You don't seem like someone who's kind of resigned to fate, or just being like, yeah, I had a lot of bad things happen and that's it. That's my story. It seems like you guys are on this trajectory and destiny to really achieving something really special. And I'm just getting the vibe of someone who has that spark of life, that spark of energy where they are invigorated by things. Like, I feel like in a world where so many people are kind of honestly boring and like turned off and just kind of like going through the motions of life and unexcitable, you guys seem like that type of person that would always have a new favorite TV show they're excited about, always have a new favorite band or something they're looking forward to, or like if you talk about something you like, I'm seeing that your eyes light up and you get so excited, and there's just this spark of life within you that I think is really attractive. And I feel like people are kind of not sure how to take you because some of these cards are kind of contradictory. So it's almost like I'm getting at first, people are like, who is this person? But you always stick out of the crowd. You did get the star, and I'm going to come and talk about that a little bit later as well. But you definitely stick out of the crowd, and you're definitely a noticeable person who might stand out at parties. Honestly, I'm getting some of you guys, this sadness I'm getting might have come from some jealousy directed at you. And I'm almost seeing people don't understand you, and they might think negative thoughts about you, but it's only from their lack of understanding. It's only from, honestly, for some of you guys, it is that jealousy. Like, I feel like you guys stand out in a crowd. I feel like you guys make an impression. You're unforgettable. When people meet you, they remember you. No matter how short of an interaction it was, they will always remember you, and you leave your mark on them. And I feel like a lot of people who are kind of forgettable, let's be honest, not everyone gets to be this remarkable, sparkly, magical fairy creature that you guys are kind of coming off as. They might resent you. They might even say you're too much. They might say you party too much with the Three of Cups. They might say that you are like too loud. You know, that is an energy from the Knight of Swords, is someone that might be considered by some as talking too much. But don't let people take that away from you guys. Your voice is your gift. And a lot of people that might have a debilitated Mercury might be jealous of this energy that you have, that I feel like you guys could talk about anything and make it interesting. You probably have a million stories, a million interests. You know, it's kind of like, when you think of what's coming to my mind is Oprah's favorite things. And I think she said, you know, that was such a big deal back in the day. And she said, like, it's kind of surprising to me that it's one of our most popular shows, because it's just my list of my favorite things like that I liked. And she's like, I've always done that since I was young. It's just, if I really like something, I just end up talking about it. I'm just enthusiastic. So if I try a new, you know, what's it called? Like, fabric detergent, like laundry detergent or something, and it smells really good and makes my clothes soft, I'm gonna just tell everyone about it. Or if I try a new popcorn, whatever, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I had the best popcorn. And that literally was one of her most popular shows. And obviously, it's not just even about the favorite things. It's about this energy of someone who can talk, who can make these stories interesting, because 90% of people talking about fabric detergent and laundry detergent, it would be a snooze. And you'd be like, how do I leave this conversation? I gotta go. I have an appointment. Sorry, I can't stick around. But when Oprah's doing it, for some reason, it's interesting. And those shows would, you know, people would look forward to it all year and go crazy for it. I still love some of the like GIFs people made of people in the shows when they would find out what they were getting, and they would just be screaming and like tearing their hair out. And it's so funny to watch, honestly, just because of how over the top the reactions are, even though I get it because she was giving away like thousands of dollars of stuff. But I think that's what the vibe that's coming to my mind is. Some of you guys have a gift for gab, and people who don't get it, don't get it. And not to obsess over Oprah, but what's also coming to my mind is that I know she worked at like a small local news studio in Maryland, and she was there, and they kept telling her like, you have to stop, because she would go and talk to like the people, the victims of crimes, and instead of just being very like a typical news anchor and just being very like just the facts, like, and then what happened, okay, and then this, she would be like very emotional with them and like start talking to them about all this stuff and comfort them. And the news producers were like, what the heck is this? This is a news channel. This is not like, you know, a human interest thing where we're going to be like consoling someone. And so anyway, I feel like with Oprah, she didn't fit in there, and it was kind of used against her. And my point is, if people don't see your shine, you guys shouldn't even be paying attention to that, because I feel you guys stand out in a crowd in a good way. But some people might be jealous of that, and they might be angry at the level of attention you guys get, because I do feel this is a gift. Just like Oprah stuck out like a sore thumb at the news studio because she was destined for this big, you know, success in her career, and people could probably tell like, oh dang, she's really good. talking to people during the interviews. She's really good reading the news and people are really responding to her, and maybe they don't like that so much because they thought they were going to be the star. So we always should consider when someone doesn't like us or when they react weirdly to us, like, what's the motivation? Is it real? Is it a genuine concern they have? Or is it jealousy? Because that is really shockingly common. People can be jealous of anything. And I feel like for you guys, they're jealous of your bubbly conversation, how you guys talk. I feel like you guys will be that person that just always has amazing, like really funny stories to tell. Like if you get sat next to this person at a party, you'd probably be so excited because whatever they talk about, they're going to make it interesting. They have a million like funny things to say. And honestly, you guys do give off a vibe of being great at parties with the Three of Cups. People might even assume that you're like a party girl or like a party boy, or you go out all the time and like you're always out. And you might be like, actually, I just stay at home and I don't party that much, but people just kind of get that vibe from you, I think, really strongly. But there's a really strong resilience coming through, and people think of you as resilient. I feel like at first they might think of you guys as kind of, I want to say superficial, or like, oh, they're not that smart. Like I said, they're a party girl, or they just talk a lot. So there's also something to be said for kind of like, I feel like especially women who talk a lot get kind of looked down on in a misogynistic way, or feminine energies who do that get looked down on. And like a guy can talk a lot and he's kind of smart. A girl that talks a lot, it's kind of like, oh gosh, be quiet, you know? So I don't know, not to get into that, but I just feel like people might think of you as kind of like superficial or vapid or whatever. But I feel as they get to know you, they're like, actually they're pretty smart. And yeah, it's kind of like how in how I'm literally seeing that scene in my head from Legally Blonde where Elle Woods goes to the store and they're trying to sell her that like last season's dress, and she's like, oh, is this 80% viscosity rayon? And she says it really brightly and the lady's like, it is. And she's like, and she was saying back to the other sales assistant like, oh, she's such an idiot, this is going to be an easy money with, she has daddy's credit card and it's going to be easy. She's clearly an airhead. And then she comes over, asks her about the rayon percentage or whatever it is. And she's like, they can't go up that high. Also, I saw this last season. You tried to sell it to me 6 months ago. And she's really smart, but she doesn't necessarily present that way. And I feel like this is kind of a superpower. I personally love when people underestimate me because I'm like, perfect. This just allows me to not even have to worry about like, you coming for me because you're going to do such a bad job of it because you're underestimating me, you know what I mean? And I feel like you guys have that effect too, where people might meet you, think you're a little bit talkative, bubbly, you're always joking, you always have something funny to say, and they might think like, oh, they're going to be easy to deal with. They're kind of an idiot. And then they get to know you and they're like, oh, they're actually pretty smart and they have a lot of strength. I feel like you guys are very strong and you've been through stuff and you have like opinions based on stuff you've been through. Like it's not your first time at the rodeo and you're like wide-eyed and have had just an easy life and, you know, have never been through anything. Like you've been through stuff. So when you speak on things, you have an authority on it. And I feel like that's something that, again, a lot of people don't expect, but they come to really, I feel like, respect you in the end. Even if they don't like you and they still have this jealousy and resentment towards you, I do feel that they will ultimately respect you. So that's good to know because I feel like you guys deserve that respect. So let's get more cards. So we got Strength. Archangel Ariel, strength and grace through kindness, self-confidence, forgiveness. Knight of Michael, time to move quickly, choose logic over emotion, sudden changes. Two of Michael, it will all be better if you just make a decision over analyzing a problem, find a compromise. Page of Michael, an exciting new challenge. You have what it takes to succeed. Review context or documents thoroughly. And Archangel Jophiel, release yourself from that which holds you back, a need to detox. Unnecessary worry based on a lack of confidence. So you guys honestly just come off as, I think, really, really smart, highly intelligent. A lot of these cards are about that. And so I feel like for you guys, like, you have this depth of accumulated knowledge that people really respect. I think something that just comes through super strong with you guys is people respecting your intelligence and your intellect and seeing you as a bit of an authority. Again, this might take time for them to realize it. Like at first, even from how you look, I'm feeling like people might just misjudge you because you're attractive and you do have this star energy. So they might think of you as not that smart, but once they get to know you, they're like, wow, they have a really large vocabulary and they know a lot about current events, and like they're just there's a lot of respect coming through in this reading. And the Michael cards in this deck have to do with the sword, so such strong sword energy. And I am getting that you guys might have a prominent Mercury in your chart. So you could have Mercury aspecting the ascendant, aspecting the sun, Mercury conjunct Jupiter, something like that. A really well aspected Mercury, like Mercury in Virgo or Gemini or Aquarius. But you guys just come off as highly intelligent, and I feel like, again, that's kind of something, I just keep getting this feeling of surprise. I keep getting this feeling of people not really expecting that. And kind of, again, this might be where the jealousy comes from, because I do feel like you guys present as very attractive. And I do feel like you guys get a lot of attention, but you don't really seek it out. It just is something that naturally comes to you. You just look really good. So again, I just keep getting there's strong jealousy swirling around you guys. There's strong energy of people who, would love to honestly see you guys brought down. We got the death card reversed. So I feel like you have overcome. You've had a lot of like downfalls that should have like taken you out, but you overcame again. And people who have stabbed you in the back is what I'm getting. And I think that's just because people are like, you're not supposed to be that blessed. Like, you know, so how sometimes you'll read a story in the news about like this supermodel just got her degree from Princeton, and you're like, what the heck? How is it possible that you get to be a supermodel and smart enough to go to Princeton? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's the vibe here, is like people who are just pressed because you guys have it going on in so many different ways. You're not just someone who has one thing and you're not really good in the other arena. You're good at everything. And I think that just causes a lot of pain to people. So yeah, more thinking energy coming through, and your strength. I feel like you are not really one to be messed with. Not that you would start a fight, but if someone pushes you, I feel like you guys know how to handle yourselves. I feel like you guys know what to say, and there's a grit and a determination. And this is where I really think this pile is going to have a lot of success. And this isn't a success reading. I do have my success readings here and on my Patreon about your life. So if you want to check those out, you can go through my old videos or check out my Patreon link in bio. But for a lot of you guys, so I'm not turning it into this, but I'm just getting the vibe that a lot of you guys are destined for some success because you're so determined. I just feel like you guys bring your energy and enthusiasm into everything you do. You stay enthusiastic. If someone's like, you can't do that, you're like, watch me. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it done. So again, people are a little intimidated. I feel like they're kind of like, who is this person? Like they're really intense, to be honest. Yeah, and I feel like people respect your judgment. You might have a lot of people coming to you guys for advice, to be honest. With Decision Archangel Jophiel, you might have a lot of people that come to you and want to ask you like a million questions or talk to you about their situation and get your judgment about everything, because I feel like your judgment is very much on point. So let's get more cards. So we got Mystic Healer, healing energy flows through you, traveling lightly. Simplify your life, reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly, taking shelter. The answers are within, and passion and pleasure savor your life. You know, I just got a really powerful message from Spirit for you guys, that some of you guys, you are so used to this jealousy. You're so used to the hatred and the haters and the little nasties that are mad at you shining your light so brightly. And I don't even think you guys can help it. You might have a very strongly aspected sun as well. Like, your sun might aspect your Mercury, or you might have a sun in Leo or a sun in Aries where it's exalted, sun in the first house. A lot of other placements, sun aspecting Jupiter, oh my gosh, sun conjunct Jupiter, something like that. But you guys really are shining so brightly. You guys just are, I feel like, just have this light to you. You have this bright, burning energy around you. You might have Mars as well, aspecting strongly in your chart, but I feel that this has led to some of you guys almost being like, you know what, I'm just going to keep up my circle small. I'm just going to keep away. I'm just going to kind of hide myself away because I don't want to deal with these haters. And maybe you've really had people stab you in the back. And that's one of the downsides of like shining brightly is people who are dark themselves and have a lot of dark energy hanging around them will be drawn to your light. They will be drawn to that fire that you have that they want to keep warm by. You know, just like if you were trying to navigate through a cold night and you saw a beautiful burning fire, you'd run up on it, you know? And so I feel like some of you guys, you've had people stab you in the back. And so you now might have retreated a little into hermit mode, and Spirit is letting you know that all the things that have happened are okay and you are going to recover. If you think this was your death moment, it wasn't. It's reversed. You guys overcame and you are going to be so successful. I can just see that so strongly. You will reach your destination and you have this huge destiny. And so right now, I think Spirit wants you to take more time to actually have fun and enjoy, and wants to get you in a positive energy and almost return back to that child. Because I'm seeing you as a child being very like happy and easygoing and like lighthearted and laughing all the time. And I feel like now it's just been a heavier energy, and Spirit wants to return you back to that. Spirit wants to, you know, give back everything that was taken from you and make you realize that that bright spark and light that you are was never snuffed out and can never be snuffed out. It's too powerful. And you guys are resilient. I'm getting that you guys have a lot of past lives where you've had to deal with difficult stuff. You guys have been through difficult situations multiple lifetimes, and you're still the same fighter with the same energy, that same spark. You know how sometimes you'll meet an older person and everyone else in the nursing home is kind of quiet and chilled out and like just resigned, and then there's one like really feisty old guy that's like always, you know, still ready to go for things and like still really excited about whatever meal they're serving at lunch. I think that's you guys. So it's like, don't feel like these people have taken you out. And I feel like there's a little bit of a push from Spirit to actually go out because and take more time, like enjoy, like making yourself your favorite food or having a glass of wine or going out with friends and laughing and trusting a little bit more, because some of you guys have been so hurt by people that you're really keeping yourself isolated, and Spirit is saying that you will be protected no matter what you go through. Spirit will protect you. So just don't worry about it. You know, just take that out. You have this mystical, amazing power flowing through you. You guys I'm surprised we kind of didn't get the High Priestess or something, but I can see why now, because I feel like Spirit wants to pay attention to your other qualities, but you do have a lot of spiritual power behind you. I feel you guys have a very large spiritual tribe looking after you on the other side, and so you don't need to worry too much. You are just shine, do whatever is going to allow yourself to shine. And for some of you guys, you know, this is an energy I wouldn't be surprised, and we did get the star, where you guys are supposed to have some kind of a public platform, because I often find that someone who's supposed to have some kind of a public platform, it's almost like they can't find the solace, they can't find their tribe in just the regular groups. Like they just can't meet people in their small town. And sometimes people are like, well, why do so many celebrities say that? Like, oh, I just didn't fit into my small town. And sometimes people even think that's like untrue, like that's BS. They must have been like so popular because they're so beautiful. But I think sometimes Spirit does that to make them uncomfortable, to force them to like move to LA, and to force them to push themselves, and to force themselves to put themselves out there. I think the world will benefit from you guys sharing your immense power, like with the world. Like what would have happened if Oprah had been like, you know what, I'm really bad at reading the news, and I'm really bad at this whole entertainment thing, because I think she wanted to be a newscaster or something, like that was always her goal, and she was just like, I'm gonna quit and I'm just gonna move home and I'm just gonna become like an accountant or something, you know what I mean? So sometimes you got to keep pushing. Sometimes that failure in one area is letting you know that there's something bigger and better for you, and you will reach it. But you guys have got to push yourselves a little bit and not let this rattle you, because this is like a test, you know? So we gotta like say, like, I'm not gonna dim my light. As it says in the Bible, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Or that's not from the Bible, it's a song, but you know, what is it? hiding your light under a bushel, something about it. I don't know the exact quote, but it's bad. And you're not supposed to do that. So yeah, we've got to be shining our light brightly. So we also got no place like home, breathe, to the sea, never ending story, and orphan. So with orphan coming through, like I really am getting that vibe that some of you guys might have difficult family situations. Maybe you were the rock in your family. Again, I find a lot of people with a strong destiny end up getting born into really difficult families. It's sad, but just something that seems to happen. And I feel like that's because it's like preparation. And again, sometimes it's because when you're comfortable, like you're never gonna do anything. You know what I mean? Like that's why so much of the time, like you'll see someone that was born into a lot of wealth and they don't really accomplish much because they never had to. Unfortunately, just as humans, when we're like comfy and cozy on the couch and curled up and everything's great, we're not going to feel like getting up and doing a bunch of chores or whatever. You know, we're not going to feel like getting up and like going out into the snow and walking 6 miles into work. We're just going to probably, if we don't need to worry about money, we're going to go ahead and cancel that and maybe even quit the job and be like, what's the point? I'm already comfortable, you know? And so it's like sometimes I feel spirit will push us and press us to achieve this stuff because the world benefits from us doing that. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people can see this kind of grit and this stoicism in you where you guys just seem like you are not one to be messed with. Like I feel like people might be intimidated by you. It's really interesting because I feel like at first people might think of you as kind of ditzy, kind of like, oh, this person's just not that smart. Or especially, I think this is just really gendered, to be honest, because I think a lot of times with women, especially, a woman can just be like doing regular stuff and people are like, oh, she's dumb, like having nails or doing makeup. And people will be like, oh, well, they're dumb because they have makeup. It's like, how does that? I'm sorry, I didn't know that was related to IQ. Like, how does that relate? That doesn't make sense. But I mean, you could give Stephen Hawking long nails like mine and he'd still be just as smart. Like there's no magic in the nails that are going to change someone's IQ, like duh. But there's a lot of judgment I feel towards femininity in general and almost like needing to bring down attractive women and say that they're dumb to make everyone feel better collectively. But anyway, that's a different conversation. But I just feel a lot of you guys might get that misjudgment at first. And it can definitely apply to men as well. I'm not a man, so I don't really know everything that men go through, but I'm sure that there's the masculine equivalent. I definitely have seen people dismiss a guy as like a pretty boy when, you know, he's really smart as well. So I think sometimes people just don't like to see someone who has it all succeed, you know, because people get jealous and whatever. So anyway, but I definitely could see this being a little bit gendered, to be honest, and a little discriminatory towards my feminines. But oh, we just had lightning. But I feel like that makes sense because I feel like you guys are kind of lightning in a bottle. Like I feel like you're very transformative and kind of confronting. I feel people get intimidated by you. I don't know if you can hear the thunder and lightning, but I love it when it's raining like this during my readings. It's just such a vibe. So my favorite time to read is like this. But I feel like for a lot of you guys, there's something confronting about you. Like you would be the one at the party that you would just randomly, like if someone's like, oh, I did XYZ, you'd be like, oh, really? Oh, did you hear about this thing with it? Or you might ask a probing question and you're not even trying to be harsh. You're not trying to be like putting them down, but there's something about you that people might just, it might just rub them the wrong way. They're like, how dare they ask me that? That was supposed to be my moment about how I was going to brag that I went bungee jumping, but then they went bungee jumping too and they mentioned it. But you're not trying to compete. You're not trying to be competitive. You're just like, yeah, I went, oh my God, I love bungee jumping. Let's talk about it. You're being enthusiastic, but almost like people are so jealous of the way you instantly become the center of attention because you seize people's shine. Honestly, that's just what I keep getting for you guys. And some of you guys might benefit from almost like meditation because I feel, again, in this pile, you guys have so many guides, such a huge team on the other side. I'm just seeing like an army on the other side for you. So I feel like tuning in to them, if you don't already do something like that, it's a really, really good idea because I think you'll get that guidance really strongly. You guys, I don't know what's going on in this pile, but this is like a power pile. It's interesting. Like there's also like cardology. I don't know if any of you guys are into that, but I'm feeling like some of you guys might be like Ace of Diamonds or, you know, King of Diamonds, King of Spades or Hearts, or what's the last one? I can't remember, whatever it's called. But you know, one of those court cards, or just really powerful energies here. Like this is just powerhouse type energy coming through. So let's get more cards. So we got New Beginnings, Stand Your Ground, Temptation, and Transformation and Power. And the power, yes, exactly what I'm saying. And yeah, and transformative, confronting, kind of Pluto energy. I think you guys are one of those people that just has a very activated chart where all the aspects there's all the planets connect with aspects and everything's activated at the same time. Maybe a giant conjunction in one sign, all the planets are in one sign, or just they're all connected in like trines and sextiles or even oppositions. But there's so much activation here. Like I just feel like everything, it's like all systems go in this pile. Like everything is on point. And I also feel like with temptation, a lot of people might resent you because it's like you guys are very physically attractive. And some people, what I'm hearing is some people want to leave their significant others for you. Some people want to leave their girlfriend or boyfriend for you. And this is an issue, and this has caused tension and anger and jealousy and anger. And you might be like, why is this person acting so weird to me? Why do they always give me like a stank face whenever I come around? And I'm hearing that that's why, that like there's discussions behind your back about like how, you know, their boyfriend was always kept looking at your Instagram photos, or how like he mentioned like, hey, how would you feel about, you know, having her over and we could hang out for Netflix or something. You know what I'm trying to keep it PG for you too, but you know what I mean? Like people dropping hints about you, or someone who has a crush on someone, but they notice their crush keeps staring at you. You know, there's a lot of jealousy here. You guys are like, it's like magic, like you're it, you know what I mean? And I feel like there's just a lot of power here and memorableness that a lot of people wish they had. Let me get some more cards. Let me live shuffle from this pile. Spirit, can you please tell us about pile 3? What do people think of pile 3? What do people think of pile 3? We got the Chess Queen, trust, strategizing, the arrow mark, hitting the mark, intention, detachment. So like I said, strong, like going for it type vibes with all of these. The Hawk Prince, spirit communication, paying attention. The Lady of the Mirror, reflection, non-judgment. Shadow Queen, acquiring knowledge, insecurity, manipulation. The Shadow Queen makes sense because I feel like some of you guys have been through so much, but you stay really strong. And there is a magical spiritual element to you guys. We got a lot of cards about that, and I've been picking that up, is that you have a strong tribe on the other side, and I feel you guys are highly intuitive and you just come off that way. I feel like you just come off like someone that might have like psychic dreams, or just is psychic. You might be that weirdo in your friend group that just knows random things, like just knows, you know, random current events. You'll just be like, isn't it weird that like how volcanoes blah blah blah, and the next day a volcano blows up, and your friends start noticing that as a pattern, and they're like, wait a minute, why do you mention this random stuff? And then it happens, you know, and they might even get a little freaked out by that. But yeah, I think most people respect you, but they're intimidated and they don't really want to see you succeed. But I feel like there's a strong message that some of you guys, you've been being called to a certain purpose or a certain destiny, but you've been afraid of it. Maybe because you've gotten this hate from others and you're like, I don't want more of it. I don't want to show my face anymore. But you know, I always say, if you are this kind of energy, you can either get hated on within your friend group, or you can get hated on by the wider world. You know what I mean? You can either get hated on and be broke and have no one giving you any money, and just have your local friend group hate on you of like, oh, she thinks she's so much better than us. Or you can be hated on by random people on like Twitter as a public figure, but you get paid for it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the hate is inevitable when someone has the star power. I mean, think of what it's like to be like a big celebrity. They always get people talking badly about them. They always get people saying nasty stuff. It's just something you kind of have to get over. So sometimes that might be also why Spirit tests you with this, because you don't get to the elevated position without the hate. You don't get to be like, you know, a huge singer or something. I mean, think of like someone like Taylor Swift, like how much hate she's gotten. And you have to just kind of let it go and just accept it as like part of your destiny, and actually a big compliment, because again, people don't talk about some random person like that's living in people aren't making multiple message boards about some random person like living in an apartment complex in like Norman, Oklahoma. No offense to anyone there. And maybe that's your message if you are living there, that like this is for you. But they do make hate threads about, you know, Taylor Swift all the time. And it's because it's that destiny, it's that strength, it's that power. You know what I mean? So it is a compliment. I want to get some final cards for pile 3. So we got Skull of Darkness, Blind Spot. But I feel like that's also a message about how activated your crown chakra is. The Witch, the Earthly Weaver of the World, Vampire Emotional Intelligence. I feel like you guys have a lot of vampires about you. And I'm also getting Salem Witch Trial vibes. So it's kind of like, and, you know, I just heard that line from Taylor Swift where she says, I did something bad. Iconic song for you guys to check out, because I feel like you're always anchoring people with the things you say or just how you go through life. And you're so beautiful, like this card shows. And you have this strong future, because it says the future on it, the veil, the future. Your future is so bright that I feel like a lot of people, I just heard your future is so bright you have to wear shades. Maybe that's why she's wearing a blindfold. But you guys, I feel, have people who glom onto you because of that, who try to suck your energy away because of that, and who, if they could, and it was like 1605, they would burn you at the stake. But guess what? It's not, and they can't. So don't just lean into it as this is my source of power. Transmute that dark energy that people give you into good energy, positivity, strength, and use it as your fuel. And I feel like you guys do that. Let me get some astro dice for pile 3. So we got 12th house. We got Uranus, strong Uranus, Aquarian vibes, and we got Gemini. Yeah, because you guys are so smart and intuitive, communicative, and again, with the exalted Mercury type vibes. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain. It's so pretty. I love when it's raining and it just sounds so amazing. But 12th house, you know, that is the house of endings. That's a house of things that are hidden. It can be a house of a lot of things, jail. And this might be a proclivity to like getting in trouble. Like you might be that person that like everyone else can get away with something, but you can't. And I feel like this is, again, take it as a compliment. Take it as like, they see the destiny on me. They're trying to stop me, but they can't, you know? But you do have to be careful when you have like Mars in the 12th house or something like that, because it can show, or Uranus in the 12th house, because it can show a possibility for hardship with like jail or ending up in trouble and stuff like that. With Uranus, you guys are very unexpected. There's something about you guys that, like I mentioned, like people get you wrong all the time. And I feel like you stick out like a sore thumb. If you were to be in like a small town or something like that, you would just stick out so much. But again, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And it's just because of your power, your strength. And also Uranus relates to the 11th house, which can relate to like large groups of people and also technology. So again, some of you guys might have a destiny in some kind of a public figure or in social media, something like that. And a lot of this is the way you guys speak. I feel like you guys speak very well and have a great way of speaking. And also with Gemini coming through, yeah, I think you guys are just very charming and smart, highly intelligent. So yeah, I think that's how you're perceived, guys. We talked, it twisted and turned to a little bit of like a success destiny reading. And again, I have more of those on my Patreon and on here, so you can check those out if you want more of that. But wasn't my intention, but sometimes when you're channeling, Spirit just brings you these messages so strong. So I really hope it resonated. Let me know if it did. Pile 3, I'm curious about this pile, so definitely let me know. And make sure to hit that thumbs up, hit the like button, and make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on so you can find out as soon as I post. And like I mentioned, check out my Patreon. The link for that is in my bio, and I have a lot of fun readings over there. Some 18 plus tipsy readings, and also some more serious readings all about how to achieve your dreams, among other things. So definitely check that out. Like I said, link in my bio for that, for Patreon. And I think that's about it, you guys. Sending you so much love and light. Have an amazing day and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hey pile 4, so if you guys picked this piece of sushi, this is going to be your reading. I'm not sure what kind of a fish this is. It's kind of yellow. If you know, definitely leave it in the comments, but let's get right into your tarot. You guys got the Chariot, Page of Wands, Three of Swords reversed, Queen of Wands reversed, Knight of Wands reversed, the Emperor, the Hermit, Six of Wands reversed, the Fool reversed, and the Ace of Cups. So what's coming through right away is that people think of you as very enthusiastic. You might be outgoing or someone that just seems kind of full of energy, maybe life of the party, or just someone that gets things done. And I feel like you guys probably also have some strong preferences for things. Like, to a certain extent, you like things to be done your way. You like things to be done right. And honestly, your energy doesn't feel like you're a shrinking violet. You guys might be fire signs because there's so many wand cards coming through. So it could be Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius, and there's a lot of boldness coming through. There's a lot of energy. I find it interesting that the Queen of Wands and Knight of Wands are reversed, and the Page of Wands is upright. So I'm going to kind of read them somewhat reversed and somewhat upright because of the vibe I'm getting from here. But you know, the Page of Wands is the youngest, so to me this says that you really have this other energy as well, but mostly you come across as having a young enthusiasm for life. You know, the Page of Wands has not been kind of daunted by life yet. You know, it has not had a lot of disappointment yet. It has not had that realization of like, oh, I can't really succeed like that. I have to try this. I have to adjust myself that. The Page of Wands is just bold, full of enthusiasm, ready to take things on, excitable. And that's the vibe I'm getting for you guys. Is maybe you guys are that person that like you love certain things and you have strong opinions. And if someone's like, do you want to go get ice cream? You're not like, I guess I could go, sure, I guess. You're like, yes, I want ice cream. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It's my favorite. Like that kind of a person. And you might have strong preferences either way. Or like if you don't want ice cream or you don't like ice cream for some reason, maybe you're like an alien because who doesn't like ice cream? But if you don't like ice cream, you'd be like, no, I definitely don't want to get that. And you would come through as being forthright, being honest, being kind of blunt. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people see you as someone that says their opinion, has their opinions, is enthusiastic towards things, and there's a natural sensuality running through you guys as well. The Queen of Wands has a very sensual nature to her. She's the only queen card with her legs open. So there's a sexuality coming through where a lot of people might be attracted to you and drawn to you and just kind of assume that you're like really good in bed and think of you as that way. Think of you as like a natural flirt. You might be that person that like when your friend group is like out at the bar and one of the girls sees a cute guy, they'll send you over to talk to them because they know how to flirt. So maybe they're all too shy or something, and they'll be like Elena, go over there, talk to him, please. Like get his friends to come over here. And like they know that you're the one who's brave enough and bold enough that you'll go do it. You're not going to be afraid. You're not going to be scared. So I feel like people kind of rely on you to, you know, to bring your enthusiasm into things, to not be afraid. You guys might even be into things that are like extreme sports, like bungee jumping or skydiving, stuff like that, because I just feel like there's such boldness emanating from you guys. And something I love about wands is even though they can be so fiery and people don't necessarily think of them as like a water sign type energy, and people tend to think of water signs as more emotionally nurturing. And that's probably true to a certain extent. I mean, an Aries probably isn't going to be like wanting to cuddle you in the same way a Cancer is. But the thing is, I find fire signs are generally super emotionally supportive and tend to be a little bit emotional, to be honest. Like they run on emotions differently than a water sign. They a lot of times will get heated or get hot, but that's kind of their way of processing emotions. So they might be that protective friend that like when, you know, someone's going through a hard day, maybe the water sign is comforting them and giving them a hug, and the fire sign is like, where is he? he broke up with you. Okay, so what's his homeroom class in? I'm marching over there right now. I'm going to tell him off. Like, and in a way, even though maybe that's not the stereotype of someone being nurturing, like it's so nice to know that you have a person like that in your corner who is always there for you to depend on. So I feel like people really love and enjoy your enthusiasm. Also, I feel like you guys would be very on point with trends. Like you're probably very fashionable, or you have a very up-to-date sense of fashion is what I'm getting, and you're very like ahead of the crowd in that sense. Like I feel like you guys would be early adapters to trends, and you're wearing the things that everyone else will be wearing like a year later. So you will be ahead of that crowd, and kind of do your own thing. I'm seeing some of you guys keep your circle small, are very loyal to certain people. And honestly, a lot of people might be a little intimidated by you. Like I feel like you guys can be so vibrant, so outgoing, so fun that a lot of people would like to be your friend, but they're kind of like, yeah, they just keep to themselves. They're not open to that. Or like, I wouldn't even know what to say to them. Also because you guys might dress cool or be this kind of sexual, sexy type person with the Queen of Wands like that, and so much wand energy, that people might, you know, not think that you're kind of like Regina George or something, even though you're not. But they might just think like, oh, this person's really cool because they have like their outfits up to date. Their energy is just so like bold and outspoken that like I'm intimidated. I'm afraid to come up to them and tell them what I think because they'll probably ice me out. I feel like some of you guys, with the Six of Wands being reversed, that's interesting. Some of you guys might not post a lot on social media, or if you do, you have like, you do like the best friends, and your close friends, and you post to them only, and like you don't like post a ton of stuff about yourself. But I'm also getting some of you guys might be more active, but it's just very curated. It feels like people don't get to fully see the real you through your social media, and people are aware of it. And it kind of brings back the mystery, right? Like I think, you know, people talk about how old movie stars just had more cachet and stuff because people just didn't know as much about them. They didn't know what was going on at like the Beverly Hills Hotel or the Chateau Marmont. So it was more fascinating. Now you can obviously like see a million posts from that from different people, and so it takes away some of that cachet whenever you know about someone. And I feel like maybe that's why people are so curious about you, is because I feel there's something with your social media where you're not giving away everything, you're not telling everything that you're going through. Like there's a lot of mystery there. So even if you are making a lot of posts, maybe it would just be about like, I drink this grape soda, but you're not really sharing everything, and people still feel like there's a little bit of a wall up with you that they really can't fully get to know. I feel like you guys are that type of person that you're not down for something new unless you like know it, unless you feel really strongly about it. With the Emperor, again, I feel like you guys like things to be done your way, and you like things to be done correct. And so again, your presence at like a function is kind of a privilege. Like if you show up, people probably know it's going to be cool. And if you're not there, maybe they're like, is this lame? Should we not have even come? Because I feel like you guys just seem choosy. Like you seem like you're either into it or you're not. And if you're not into it, you're not even going to halfway show up. You're not going to be like, oh, let me put a smile on and pretend and mope around. You're going to be like, I'm not going, period. I like things my way, and that's it. So yeah, I feel like people, they are also like, you guys might be slightly competitive or just very energetic. You might have an intense workout routine too. I just feel like you guys have a lot of natural energy, or you just drink like a ton of coffee or something. But honestly, I feel like you have natural energy too. So maybe you on coffee is like even worse because you're just so energetic. You'll be bouncing off the walls. That's why I don't drink coffee, so no judgment. But yeah. Okay, so let's get more cards. So we got Justice. It says, fight for justice and equality. Rulings made in your favor. Don't give up. Change your life. Archangel Chamuel, a sudden revelation that offers freedom. Break free of procrastination. Okay. The Star, Archangel Jophiel, a dream come true, believe in yourself, the end of a difficult situation. Four of Gabriel, time for a celebration. Abundant rewards for hard work, release yourself from burdensome situations, and leap of faith. Archangel Metatron, believe in yourself, listen to your heart, do what gives you joy. And I feel like you guys know that, like you only do what gives you joy. You know how like Marie Kondo says to give everything away that doesn't spark joy? You probably already like know that advice, because I feel like you're that type of person that you only do what you want to do. Like you might even be a bit of a picky eater, or your friends are like, oh, well, we can't invite her to come to this place because like I know with my friends, honestly, my best friends, they know not to bring me something that's janky because I just don't like it. Venus conjunct Jupiter, second house, I don't like it. Like I do not want to go to like some rundown type of restaurant with like cement floor. That's my pet peeve, is like that trend now with like the cement everything, cement tables, cement floors. I'm like, am I in a prison or what's going on? I don't like it. I like, you know, wood paneling, nice leather, or like good interior design, flowers, that kind of a thing. I don't want to feel like I'm like at the cafeteria getting my like daily appointed lunch. I want to feel like I'm getting something nice. And so that's kind of the vibe with you, is like maybe your friends know not to contact you and ask you if you want to go out to like the new industrial warehouse chic type place, because you're just gonna pass it up. Or maybe you like that and you don't like the smoky little leather and wood paneled places that I like, and whichever. But I just feel like you probably have your preferences, and people know that like I said, if it's not your vibe, you're not going to do it. You're not desperate for company. You're not desperate to hang out. And I feel like you make quite the impression when you enter the room with the Star coming out. And also, I am getting for some of you guys a little bit of party girl vibes, because we do have the Four of Wands. We also had the Six of Wands. So I feel like when you're out at the party, I think you guys wouldn't be talking to everyone. I think you would be, again, keeping your circle small, but because you make a great impression, and I feel like you guys are very chic, and the way you dress is very fashion forward, that I feel like a lot of people would want to be around you in that way, and would just be like, oh, I wish I could hang out with that person. Or even you might have random people like wanting to take pictures with you or something, or like posting photos of you, and you're like, I'm not even that close to this person. Like, why are they acting like we're best friends? And it's because you look cool. Like, I feel like you guys just make an impression on people. You look chic, you look cool. And people want to be associated with you in that sense. Like, they just being around you, being in a photo with you is a glow up. Their friends will probably be like, oh, wow, who's that cool girl you're posing with? Or who's that cool guy you're with? You just make a really good fashionable impression in that way. And I feel like you guys also, like, again, you feel strongly for the issues you care about with this Justice card. Maybe you're even into social justice, or you're into some kind of political causes, or if it's an issue you care about, you are willing to fight, you're willing to argue. I don't feel like everyone in this group fits into that. I feel like some of you guys would just be like, I'm not into that at all, which is totally fine either way, obviously. But I just feel like when you care, you're kind of willing to argue. Like, you're not just gonna let someone say something crazy in front of you and not say something back. However it is, I feel like you guys are very honest with however you feel, whatever issue it is, you're going to be honest no matter what anyone says about it, or no matter what, anyone thinks. You're going to be like, this is how I feel, these are my opinions, and that's it. And I don't really care if you don't like me. I don't care if you don't like it, because I don't really like you. Like, I keep my circle small, so I'm not trying to find new friends. And so if you don't like me, I don't care. Okay, so let's get more cards. So we got passion and pleasure, savor your life. I'm getting high-end vibes for you guys, honestly. Voyage of the heart, love flows through you and to you. Vast vistas, expand your horizons. Cleansing waters, purification activates vibrant life force. Discovering truth, you stand in the light of truth. So one thing that's coming to my mind really quick for you guys is that you might be the type of person that likes to be in a relationship. I feel like you guys like cuddling, and not everyone does, by the way. Like, a lot of people do not like cuddling, and I feel like you guys are like a cuddler for sure. Like, when you're really close to someone, I feel like you guys would be all up on them, or just wanting to spend all your time around them. Like, you really do well in that one-on-one relationship. I feel like you guys are good alone, like independent, but also like you feel your best when you have someone to pour your energy into, when you have someone to pour your affection into. You just really like that feeling, and you like being prioritized in that way. I mean, like Leo loves, you know, to feel like the center of attention, loves to feel that love from people. And I feel like that's something that's coming through, is like you just enjoy having that person who really adores you and looks after you and takes care of you. And so if you guys are not in a relationship, like I feel like that's something that is going to come out when you're in the right relationship, is just like, I like this person looking after me. And you probably really will want to be with someone who will look out for you and really take care of you. So I feel like people perceive you, but I think people think of you as someone who seems independent. Like you don't seem like the type to be super like almost clingy, I guess. You seem like you would just be independent if someone doesn't know you that well, but like your best friends probably know that you are. I'm hearing a cuddle bunny, so I don't know. I don't know who that applies for, but I feel like you guys like to cuddle up and have like that Netflix and chill night on the couch, like sharing the blanket. And, you know, you just really love to be close to the people you are close to. Even more so than most people. Yeah, I could see you guys traveling a lot as well. You just seem like, I said, the adventurous type. You seem like that kind of person that would have been to like Tokyo and Spain and Germany and Peru and Australia and wherever. You know, you just seem like you would always be going to different places. Traveling around, exploring, and you really would love to be in new cultures. And I feel like people really get that from you. Like you seem smart and intelligent in a way of not being like a book smart, not like nerdy, but like you seem kind of street smart, I guess is the word. Like you seem like someone who it has been around the world, and it's not your first, you're not like some wide-eyed, super innocent, naive person. Who has who is like completely expecting everyone to be so sweet to them and so so open to them. I do feel like you have a lot of enthusiasm, but I'm getting the vibe that also you kind of are aware of like the nastier people in the world, and that you have to look out for. Like if you were traveling, you wouldn't be that person just openly carrying your wallet on your hip and like waving your money and passport in the air. You know what I mean? You are aware of like pickpockets or whatever, and you would be aware of crime, and you would know how to like look after yourself. Like you just don't seem like you are super naive in that way, but I still feel like you have that enthusiasm, that boldness, that even though you might be aware of like the crime, you're still going to be bold and want to try and want to experience it. You might be that kind of person that always has a new favorite thing, like always is like, okay, you got to try this wine, or you've got to try this clothing line, or you've got to try this type of perfume. It smells amazing. I just feel like you guys really take pleasure in every little thing you do. You guys, like I said, you're kind of particular. And so I feel like people actually trust your judgment in that way, because I feel like when you do sign off on something and you give your approval, it's kind of like been vetted by you. Like people know that it's legitimate because you signed off on it, and you are picky, and you are that person that's going to be like, actually, I liked it at first, but then the varnish slightly wore off, so I didn't like it. And you're going to be very blunt about that. So I feel like people really respect it when you actually like something and enjoy it. They know it's going to be good. Or you might be that person that knows exactly what to order at every restaurant in town, but they're saying that people respect your judgment in that way. I also feel like I think you guys really know your limit. I'm seeing that sometimes if your kind of social meter like gets filled at like a function, like maybe you're there, you're enthusiastic, you're energetic, but then you're just like, this is kind of lame and I want to go home. You will just go home right away, and you will kind of retreat. Again, I just feel like your presence, your energy is, I want to say, a scarcity. It's like a luxury, because you're not someone who like just wants to go out all the time and be around everyone and will say yes to whatever. Like I feel like when you show up or when you're there, people are like, oh, this party's good. Okay, so we're doing something right because they showed up. And And if you're not feeling it anymore for whatever reason, you're going to be out like quick. You're not going to be in your head like, oh, I should stay. We haven't brought out the cake yet. Oh, I told her I would stay for like an hour. Oh, I guess I have to stay. You're going to be like, oh, gotta go, bye. And so I really get this vibe that you only kind of do what works for you, which I think is great. I think we could all learn from that, especially the empaths. Like, yeah, doing things that are only aligned with your energy and only bring you joy is such a amazing way to live life. And for those of you who aren't doing that, maybe this is your message from spirit to do that, because I think you guys would benefit from that really well. And I love how truthful you guys are about what works for you and what doesn't. So we also got regeneration, unfinished symphony, truth be told, serendipity, and a change in the wind. So like I said, very truthful, being very blunt. This truth energy is going throughout the reading. So I feel like, again, you're just very forthright and you just do what you want. And some of you guys might be kind of creative as well. Wand energy is very creative, and you guys might, especially Leo, Leo can especially relate to like the performing arts and also all just hobbies. Like fifth house is kind of like the things we love and like just hobbies, stuff that brings us joy. And I feel like some of you guys, you might have stuff like that, or people think of you as someone who does that. People think of you as like, oh, they probably are a painter, or they make their own clothes, or they write, or they make music, or they go to a lot of raves, or they're very into a certain subculture that takes up their time. But again, I feel like a lot of you guys just fill your life with the things you love, and you don't waste any time with something that doesn't benefit you or that you're not into. You're very like, either it's working for me or it doesn't, and that's it. And I feel like you guys are very open to things changing. You keep on top of trends. You probably are listening to, like I said, the music that everyone's going to be listening to in a year. You're probably listening to it now, and just very on top of that kind of thing. I feel like you guys have been through a lot of changes, and you just stay regenerating and growing and changing and being open to that. You don't become like some old jaded person that's listening to the same songs, for their whole life that were big when they were like 18, and then they just listen to that forever. I feel like you guys will always be like discovering new stuff, staying cool, staying hip. So let's get more cards. We got Triumph, Rejoice in Celebration, Throat Chakra, Transformation, and Accelerated Motion. So this really strong, prominent throat chakra is coming through really strong for you guys. So you're obviously, I think, someone who has an activated throat chakra. I saw like a meme and I shared it on my Instagram, which you can always follow, link in my bio for that, but which was like, you must have mistaken me for someone with a debilitated throat chakra, which is kind of like, I guess, a spiritual pun, but someone who has a debilitated throat chakra can't speak up for themselves. And if you insult them or say something rude to them, they're not going to say anything back. But someone with an activated throat chakra is definitely going to say something back. And I feel like that's you guys. Maybe you're really good in arguments, or you have good clapbacks, or you're just not someone to be messed with, and someone shouldn't come to you and say something crazy, because you will respond and you will be able to handle yourself quite well. The wands are an energy of conflict. So even though when we get to the court cards, they're going to be a little more kind of refined, they're always going to be that energy of being ready to fight, ready to throw down at any point. And so, you need to be ready. If you're going to try to attack a wand energy, you're going to have to expect that they are going to put up a heck of a fight and probably win. You guys might be really competitive, and just always have that energy of like, what did you just say to me? Oh, no. You're not going to talk that way to me. And so, yeah, I feel like there's an intimidation here. There's an intimidation about how you carry yourselves, how good you guys are verbally. Maybe maybe you've had other people who tried to come against you and you like put them in their place or something like that. But I definitely feel like people are intimidated and they are noticing this about you. So I want to get some more cards. Actually, let me spin the Astro Dice. Can we get some Astro Dice for the energy for pile 4? So we got 7th house. Okay. We got the nodes and we got Libra. So seventh house relates to Libra. So these two can go together. Then we have the nodes, destiny. So that makes a lot of sense because Libra, I feel, is kind of similar to this energy as well, in that they really tend to only like the things they like. Libras and all Venus placements can be very picky and choosy about what they expose themselves to. And I feel like, again, there's this natural magnetism you guys have that a lot of people are drawn to, with which Libras also share. Like, Libras are the total heartbreakers of the zodiac, in my opinion. And I feel like you guys might be a little bit of heartbreakers. And I do find a lot of Libras have their preferences. Like, you know how sometimes you'll read a story about a celebrity that will only have a room filled with like white candles, and they want roses, and they want like over the top stuff, and they only want like the highest end water shipped in from like Iceland, and they only want like all organic desserts that you have to find in like a special market or something. That's, like, in my opinion, kind of like Venus Libra energy. So I definitely get that vibe with you guys, that there's a high-end luxurious energy to you, and you're not going to accept anything less. And with the node coming out, you guys might have a really strong destiny. I do feel like a lot of you guys in this pile, your destiny might be tied to a significant other, or you being in this really impactful relationship is going to be a huge part of your life. But let me get some more cards. I want to shuffle a little bit. And let me spin this again because I want to get another astrological energy, not so much the node, since this isn't a destiny reading. Oh my God. It came with the nodes again. Okay, that's odd and weird and kind of creepy, you guys. So I'll just talk about that, I guess. The message they really want to send is that you guys do have a really strong destiny in this pile, and that you guys, even some of your behavior, you know what I just saw in my head, you guys might have been a queen or royalty in a past life. They just show me that so strongly. And so maybe this is where you come off as picky or demanding or bougie. Your friends might be like, oh my gosh, they always have to pick the restaurant. They're so annoying, or something like that. And you're like, yeah, because I used to be a queen like a few hundred years back, and if you didn't do it my way, you got in a lot of trouble. You got, locked up or something. So yes, we are going to do it my way. We are going to get the Alfredo and share it for the table at my favorite restaurant, and that's how it goes. So yeah, let's get more cards for pile 4. So we got the Ice Queen. Speaking of queens, so I think they're confirming that. And I said you get locked up, and we got the prison wave. So I definitely take that as confirmation for what I just channeled. Yeah, I feel like you do have kind of a queenie vibe. And I do find like this kind of royal energy that makes a lot of sense. And I kept mentioning Leo, which does relate to royalty. But with a queen, like, they're just not going to put themselves out there and do stuff they don't want to do. They're not going to try to talk to everyone. They are going to be very choosy about who they're around. And some people might not react well to that. They might take it as like a triggering moment, as like, this person thinks they're better than me. This person thinks they're too good for me. So I do feel like you guys might get some of that. But I feel like also people just think of you as a force of nature, as someone who, is so open to everything, and the energy you put into whatever, like, you're going to make it succeed. You are going to have this amazing destiny. That's another thing the nodes can talk about it. Maybe you are just set on like, I am going to make a lot of money. I am going to be a success. I am going to do something. And that radiates out from you. But I feel like, again, a lot of people think of you also as a great partner, as you would make a great partner. Like, I feel like you're a combination of kind of sexy, but also very loving and very sweet. So you have this kind of like, like, I don't know what else to say, but sexy side, where you're very almost performative, or you feel that kind of fire when you're getting dressed up and you're feeling yourself. But then when it's time to cuddle up with your loved one, you're like the most supportive, sweet, loyal, protective type of person. So people get this duality with you, where you're like this real sweetheart, but you're also going to cut someone if they if they mess with your friend or your partner. Let's get more cards for pile 4. How do people think of pile 4? Oh my God, we got the matchmaker of destiny. I'm telling you, you guys have such a strong destiny. Why are they bringing this up? This isn't even a destiny reading. Oh my gosh, I just want them to talk about how people think of you, but they keep bringing up that you guys have an amazing destiny. Like, I feel like you guys are destined for something incredible, because they just keep mentioning it and mentioning it and mentioning it. And you're probably pretty intuitive as well, because we got some cards about that too. So you might be connected strongly to ancestors, is what I just heard on the other side. And we got the Dragon's Duel, inner conflict, morality, conscious choice. So again, with that competitive vibe, the dream walker, dreams, the collective good, illusions. So your ancestors and your guides might talk to you in your dreams and send you communications specifically through that way. I definitely feel like you guys probably get a lot of messages from them because they are pretty strong. Let's see. And I'm feeling like your ancestors, your family is strong like you have other feisty family members. Let's see what people think of pile 4, mummy, change. We got trick or treat, mischief, and play. There is a mischievous element for you guys. I'm getting some of you guys might be gamers or play video games, or you'd be good at that. But you guys, I feel like you say interesting stuff. Like when you talk, because you have this fiery energy and you're very bold, you're outgoing, you wouldn't be like saying like lukewarm opinions on things like, how do you like it? It was okay, whatever. You'd be like, I loved it. It was a freaking amazing. It was the best thing ever. And so I feel like you would make a good kind of like even streamer or something like that, because your opinions are very bold, very out there and intense about things. And I feel like people are just interested in you. I feel like a lot of people have a natural fascination for you. And people are very drawn to you. Maybe that's why you do keep your circle small, is you're like, yeah, I know, like they're always trying to get close to me. It's annoying. So we got Skull of Flowers, creating through the ashes. You guys are super creative. And vampire emotional intelligence. Yeah, I think that's why you guys keep your circle so small, is like, you know that there's vampire type people around. You're not so naive, but you manage to keep your kind of childish enthusiasm about things. So you're not becoming like super jaded, but there is an aspect to you that is like, I'm sorry, I'm not going to tolerate being around someone who's like acting bad, acting trashy. Like, you're going to be selective with who you're around. But yeah, I feel like you guys just seem like you would be fun to hang out with. Like, I feel like you would be fun to talk to, interesting to talk to. I feel like you guys are good communicators. You're very blunt. You're very honest. You probably have really funny insults is what I'm just getting. Or you're just good at coming up with things on the quick. Like if someone's asking you like questioning you about something, you would be good at coming up with comebacks or coming up with responses and getting out of that situation. Or like, I feel like you guys kind of get a kick out of it. Like you kind of get a kick out of when someone says something to you, like finding out the perfect response. And you're good with that wordplay. Some of you guys would make great lawyers or great people who have to speak on their feet, because I really do think it's a gift for you guys. And I do feel like some of you guys were royals in past lives, and we did get mummy. So maybe you were royals in ancient Egypt, some of you, or you're connected to that spiritually. I want to get more astro dice. So we got 6th house. Okay, so that's Virgo, aka Mercury, Uranus, and Cancer. So yeah, there's a strong nurturing side to you that maybe doesn't come out at first, but to those who you're close to, like you will take care of them. You will treat them amazingly. I'm hearing some of you guys are really good cooks. You're really good at, yeah, making food, cooking for people, and people think of you as a nurturer once they get close to you. But on the outside, they're probably like, oh, they're kind of harsh and they're not easy to get to know. They're really tough, you know. But your close friends think of you as like the most warm, loving, nurturing type of person. And the people who are on the outside, I feel like they just imagine, they kind of fantasize because they don't get to see all the way, but they're very curious. There's something very alluring and inspiring about you that people think on you and wonder about you and want to know more. So I really hope this resonated. Pile 4, let me know if it did in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button, hit the thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications so you find out as soon as I post. And if you want to join my Patreon, the link is in my bio and you can get access to all my additional readings over there. We have a lot, and they run the gamut from being really fun and lighthearted to some more serious subjects about achieving your goals. So definitely check that out, and check out the library of all the videos we have and constantly more being thrown up all the time. So join me over there if you want. A link in my bio for that. And I think that's about it, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light. I hope you all have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye.